Howdy. Welcome to 2 Cents again. This is the weekend ending September 20th. It's your host, Brian Gillis.
This is Stephen Mominex here with the Emmy-free episode, right? We can agree
Yeah,
on that?
because we don't care about TV, even though there was some cool stuff happening that
Well,
is
you
just
do.
retreading.
Well, so,
I mean,
so-
I do, but I don't.
well, does
I don't care
anyone
about
really...
awards.
Yeah, does anyone care about the Emmys, though? Like,
A lot of people do, because I mean, it's the three majors are the Grammys, the Emmys, and the Oscars. So if you are
okay,
mainstream field, those things are you're going to talk about. It's cool that what's her name? What's the name of the show? All Kitteridge on HBO, the miniseries, like that swept every category besides uh, whatchamacallit? I don't know. I don't
uh,
even know what I'm talking about.
I
It's
haven't
tired.
even I haven't even looked at the nominations. Like, I don't
I
care
know
about
who
award shows,
won. Like I saw, I was getting up to date on Twitter before the episode. The thing that I want to include for the Emmys, and this was days prior, and I already mentioned it before the show. I didn't. I excluded it for time's sake. Was that Sleepy Hollow won a Creative Emmy for Best VR thing? So that means that VR is already winning awards before it's mainstream. So that's kind of cool.
That's yeah. I mean, I heard that show's actually really good too.
I've seen an
Surprisingly.
episode. It was pretty fun. It was a funny concept. They're doing a crossover with what is it? It has to be on Fox. What? It's like some other show they have. I'm trying to remember what it is.
I don't know. I mean, the only thing I saw lately was that they're doing the creators of that are doing a TV show of the Island of Dr. Monroe
Yeah, yeah, I
or
saw
yeah,
that.
Moreau.
Saw that
Yeah.
a couple days ago too.
Yeah, that's all I know, which could be cool. I mean, in concept,
Eh.
that sounds cool.
Talking about death, I think this is the big news item that came out this week, and it's the thing that we should start on. Silent Bob is apparently gonna die in Moose Jaws.
That's the big thing that you're starting on?
Yeah, that's the thing that I got most interested in.
I don't think that's the biggest piece of news of the week, but I mean, I'm with you though. That was a fun read. All I saw was the headline, so I don't know
Oh, you
if
didn't read it?
I don't I don't want to read it because Kevin Smith, he talks a lot. I don't even want to know if he says what
Oh,
type of
yeah,
kill it is too.
no, no, no,
But
no, no. He didn't do anything like that. This
okay,
is more of kind of outlining where Moose Jaws takes place. It seems like it's going to be the last film in the Viewers universe because obviously Mallrats, aka Mallrats 2, is coming out, and he's supposed to have a big stance, or not stance, but his character means a lot in that film.
uh-huh.
Makes sense based on the first one. Obviously, there's Clerks 3, and then Moose Jaws. So
Yeah, but that's not part of the Viewsk universe.
it kind of is gonna be. Jay and Silent Bob are gonna be in it. Like that's
I
confirmed
guess,
now.
yeah. Like, but which
I mean, it's the
I
True
always
North
thought
trilogy, but
I did talk about this with a friend a while back that I thought because Kevin Smith has hinted a while back that Jay and Silent Bob could appear in some of his other stuff. Like I don't know. I think in this trilogy, and I like the idea of Jay getting killed by a
see,
moose somehow, like
that's
just
what
Jaws style. Like, yeah, I find that idea funny. The fact that Silent
that's
Bob,
how Silent
that's
Bob's
also
gonna
cool.
die.
But yeah, but
Like in
Jay,
in the
that'd be more
interview or
awesome.
whatever, Kevin Smith was talking to Jason Mewes, and he said, wouldn't it be cool if one of us died in this movie? And Jason was like, yeah, but you can't kill me because I need to get work in Hollywood. And he was like, okay, this is true.
That
That's
is
fair.
true. Yeah,
So I'm looking forward to that.
yeah.
I mean, obviously we had to know beforehand because if you're watching Moose Jaws and Silent Bob dies out of nowhere, you'd probably shit a brick and be upset.
Well, there are a lot of Kevin Smith haters out there that I know would love to see that. So that should be really fun to watch. I mean, he's got to find the best possible way to do it too.
Mhm.
Like, it can't just be like a sudden death. It has to be a really, really fucking disgusting, horrifying
Well,
one.
Moose Jaws is obviously Jaws with a moose,
Yeah.
and so
But if
the
you're gonna
Silent
kill yourself in a horror movie, like
the Silent Bob
you
kill,
got to find a really, really memorable way of doing it.
the Silent Bob death is supposed to parallel Quint's passing in Jaws.
So he's that type of character though, or just
I don't know. It's just that's what I read, which is interesting. It totally makes sense.
In what way he gets eaten, or he's important and just kind of dies like near the third act? He's the last one to die. I don't know in what way.
I don't know.
Like, we'll see, but
We'll find out whenever this is made. I mean, we're talking about the quote unquote sequel to Yoga Hoosers before that even comes out. So
Mhm.
who knows?
yeah. And
The
I mean, I'm pretty sure it'll get made at this point. He's confident it'll get made, and he's working on the cheap, so he should be fine. But I want to see Clerks 3 really at this point. That's all I'm interested in.
I'm more interested in Hit Somebody. Anyway,
Well,
moving
what's
on.
okay? We'll talk about that later. But yeah, I keep forgetting that that's happening.
It's gonna most likely be like a TV miniseries on AMC now.
Has that been confirmed that it's AMC?
Basically, like Kevin Smith, he said, "I'm talking to a major network or like a cable network who
Yeah.
I have a good like working relationship with,
And then there's
and it
Comic
might."
Book Men. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So it's yeah. It was he was basically hinting, but that's like a further. I think that's gonna be a swan song. That's gonna be his last thing before he like actually retires from movies and TV. But moving on, also sequels. Probably your actual biggest thing this week. Transformers 5 wrapped their writers' room. Michael Bay is considering coming back.
Yeah, like the article I first read was that he was confirmed, and then he later
Yeah, and then
he
Slash
tweeted out,
Film,
yeah,
yeah,
that
Slash Film
no.
treaded. And they're like, actually, we didn't check his Twitter feed.
I'm glad that I saw that, like, because when I saw that he was signed on, my
Uh,
first reaction was, well, I shouldn't be fucking surprised at all, but I'm bummed because I really, after Transformers 4, which, just it really feels like he's just not interested in that series that much anymore. Just because on an action level, I didn't find it that impressive. Like, there's a few cool moments, yeah, but it was just really boring. Like by Michael Bay standards for what he does best. And I just he has enough clout. He's earned so much fucking money with that series. Like he
mhm.
can do anything he wants. I would just rather see him do something else.
Yeah, Bad
But
Boys 3.
yeah, I mean, or just it doesn't even have to be a Bad Boys 3. It could be something different. I mean, I don't know what to expect out of 13 Hours. I don't know. It looks like it could be terrible, honestly, because it seems way too patriotic in like a very cheesy way. But then again, it seems like that might also play to his strengths. So we'll see. But I'm just glad that that's something different from him. Pain and Gain was something completely different. I fucking love that
Mhm.
movie too. I think it's great. Absolutely. So here's hoping that they get some new blood though with Transformers 5 because I mean it's not a
It's
series.
definitely Mark Wahlberg again.
Yeah, no, he's signed on for that. I mean,
Yeah, he's signed on for the new trilogy.
I'm not interested in that series anymore. I mean, the idea that they have of building a brain trust that could be something totally cool. And I mean, Akiva Goldsman, he is an Academy Award winning writer. He also wrote the infamous Batman and Robin. So
So whatever.
it could be 50-50 there. I mean, yeah, no, he's written some stuff that I like a lot. So we'll see. Um, but yeah, I really hope that Bay does something else.
I'm not. I don't love him or anything, so I don't mind. And I also didn't mind the last Transformers movie. So as long as it's good popcorn entertainment, we can't go wrong. But if it is bad, then
It'll be fine, but I just think Bay can do better by what his strengths are, by what the kind of filmmaker that he is.
you never know. It's still, we don't know anything about this plot. Because Dark of the Moon suckered me in. I really wanted to see it because that was something that I was interested in.
That trailer is still
It's still really good.
It's
It's
yeah,
really
like
good.
I mean, I love that scene in the movie where the building falls, but the way that built up in the trailer, like it is just way more epic there. Like I will admit that.
Epic. JGL, he's in The Walk later this month. He's also supposed to be in the Edward Snowden movie that Oliver Stone directed later this year. That's been bumped to next year. It's coming out 2016 at some point. Hopefully not February. Um, so I don't know why. Supposedly they were. It couldn't have been CG reasons because this is a
It could be
bioflick, but
maybe it's not that good.
that's
I
probably
mean,
what it is.
Oliver Stone's just kind of been, he hasn't been on that great of a streak lately, and the same thing happened. I think it was Monuments Men. Like,
Yeah,
although
that was bumped.
they
And
said they
so
just
was,
needed more time to edit, but
bullshit.
yeah. I mean, I don't know if you saw the movie,
Yeah,
but
no.
yeah, yeah. It
There,
it definitely
there's
had some
something
script
else that
problems.
happened to recently. Um, was it Burn After Reading?
No, that got a fall release
The
date.
fall release? I know there was
Yeah,
something pretty big not too long ago.
yeah, I don't know, but I mean, who knows what kind of sign that is? If anything, though, it was slated for Christmas. It could be because they want like as little competition with Star Wars. I
I
know
doubt
it's a
it.
completely different type
Yeah,
of movie,
Snowden
but
doesn't seem like a moneymaker anyway, so
well, but it's Oliver Stone, and I think JGL is he's a big enough actor that this could be an Oscar bait film, absolutely. But
it's possible.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, I want it to be good. I think the trailer came out recently too.
I haven't seen it. I don't know. I've just
Yeah,
seen
I
that
haven't
one
either.
production still.
Yeah,
So I don't. I'm not. I mean, I want to see it, but I don't because I've seen Citizen Four, and if you've seen that, what's the point? It's kind of
it's a
like
great movie.
it's the same idea with the other JGL film that I just mentioned, The Walk. It's like if you've seen Man on Wire, do you really need to see The Walk?
Okay, I'm just gonna say yes. I mean, just that teaser alone, like
So you're
you
saying you want to see it
immediately
for the
get the
spectacle
sense.
of IMAX 3D?
Yeah, well, for the spectacle, but also, I mean, you just the way that teaser just builds up to him just standing on that ledge. That's Robert Zemeckis gold. Like, it's nothing but sound at first. Like, you really get that sense of vertigo that you're high up. I mean, like seriously, like I know that people praise, like someone who's famous for blocking scenes, Spielberg. In film school, everyone praises him for that. I think Zemeckis is a fucking master at it. Like he may be the best guy that knows how to block scenes, like just how to shoot them. Like
Back to the Future, man.
yeah, I mean, and even I
That
know that I
opening
don't think you were.
sequence in Doc's garage.
Yeah, I
That's a
mean, I
one
know that
shot.
like he shoots movies like so well that it's amazing how much he gets done in one take. I mean, even Flight, like I know you weren't that big on, but like
Hell no.
right when I saw that, like I think it's a pretty decent movie,
That
but
that movie
it made
is
me
a
realize
2 hour
like
long like 10-step program type thing. Like
yeah,
it's
and
an AA meeting in a film.
yeah, I mean, and I was actually cool with it. Like there was some stuff where I thought about it later, and it was ridiculous, but I was mainly just excited to see a live action Robert Zemeckis
Zemeckis
film.
film. Yeah,
Like I mean,
that's why
it
most people
really.
cared about it.
Yeah, and it's just you really like I could see why someone like him would gravitate towards motion capture, because he really likes to,
Uh-huh.
control just like his long takes, but it's just amazing what he can do behind a camera, just how he lets scenes play out, how he puts them together. And I think with The Walk, like, just certain takes that, you've seen, whether it's the teaser or the very end of the final trailer, just letting them play out and you just absorb everything that's in the frame. I think it can be a very beautiful spectacle. Like I'm really looking forward to it,
Well,
just on a cinematic level.
we
But
might be
yeah,
seeing it
as far
together
as
because I know you want to do your going away screening thing
I would like to try to see it
in the
in
IMAX. With
yeah
the
in
laser
laser
at the
projection
TCL.
IMAX. Yeah, because I still need to see what that looks like, and that might be the one to get de-virginized with.
See what happens.
Yeah.
So we got some production slash director news from this week. Big one, especially for Disney people. Rob Marshall is signed on to direct a sequel to Mary Poppins. It's gonna be set like 20 years after the original, which I'm okay with since that's a series of kids books anyway. Plus, because of Saving Mr. Banks, Disney already hinted that, and that kind of did successfully, that the audience is still interested in that property. So I'm okay. They could have got a better choice for director, especially since Rob Marshall kind of flubbed Into the Woods.
Yeah, well, and Pirates 4, and I didn't
And
see
9.
9. Yeah, which
Well, I don't like 8.5, so 9 wasn't for me.
I haven't seen it, but like I haven't seen 8.5 either, but just parts of it. But it is so weird to think that someone would have the idea of taking this very personal Italian neo-realist film
And making a
and
musical out
decide
of
to
it.
make a musical out of it. Like,
Yeah.
like, is the musical that well reviewed?
No,
I mean,
I think the music, like the stage play itself, wasn't well received. If there was one, the film definitely wasn't. It had very low scores. I think on Metacritic it probably was like around a 50.
yeah, I mean, just that sounds like
Had a
such
good cast
weird
though.
idea. Like, I mean,
Just like the movie itself, good cast.
yeah, I don't know. The moment we start seeing a musical, The Seventh Seal, then
That could happen.
yeah,
I mean, you already got Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, so you got the stoner comedy rendition of it.
yeah, we should maybe they should do a musical, The Tree of Life.
No, I actually liked that movie.
No, I love that movie. I'm just
Like
making fun
I've
of the
talked to
notion
people
of
about,
making a
oh
musical
yeah, I'm
of an
with you.
art film.
Just I've
Like,
talked to people about that movie, and almost every person that I've personally discussed it with didn't have a brother, and so I feel like that's why they didn't receive it well. I think it's one of those films where it's like you need to have grown up with a brother, especially if you were the younger brother, then it works.
Well, it is an art film. Like that's going to be a
Hmm.
very, very subjective experience, you know. And like, there is some stuff in there that I do find undeniably pretentious, but there's stuff in there that's just also very beautiful and that I really,
The dinosaurs,
really
man,
connected with.
Big
Yeah, like
Bang.
even the fucking dinosaurs, like but my interpretation of that, like for myself, is different from a bunch of other stuff online, and it's the way that I thought of it. I thought of this, especially like after I saw Boyhood, the experiences were very similar for me personally.
Somewhat, yeah, I could agree with that.
And it's not both films, like, it's not something that I could review or just talk about in a way that I'm interested in talking about. It's just something that for me
Hmm.
personally, I'd rather keep the experience because it's, when it came, it's easier to talk about Boyhood, but if you review it, then you say all the same shit of like, oh, what an amazing
They
achievement. They
shot it
did this
over
over
this
12 years.
time,
It's
and
like,
look, listen to the music that captured the
yeah.
eras, and
Yeah, and it's like, well, when you grew up within those eras too, that's going to
it
hit you in a
makes
very
yeah,
different, more
exactly.
personal way. And that was my favorite movie of that year, but I just can't really review it like in a way that I would any other narrative film where I praise it for very specific
Which
stuff. It's just that it was a
Boyhood
very
or
personal
Tree of Life?
experience. Both.
Both.
Yeah, for me, both. Maybe Tree of Life, you could find more technical things in there. For both, I mean, you could just pick the technical and say that's why this movie's great. But it was just for me, they were very subjective
Hmm.
experiences, and you can't really talk about them or just recommend why it's a great movie for somebody like without sounding like some asshole, you know. But yeah, just okay, yeah. So we were at Rob Marshall. Yeah, Mary Poppins. I haven't seen it yet. It's on my list of
Oh,
shame. I know I
really?
got to get to
You really
that, but
should.
I know that could be an episode.
It's a groundbreaking movie. I mean, it's
I've
good.
s-
You got some good acting in it and all
I've
that
seen bits
jazz.
and pieces of it.
But the
Yeah,
fact
but
that it's the first film to incorporate live action with animation, like without it, you know, Roger Rabbit could have potentially never happened and stuff like that. Like those
yeah,
sequences, it's kind of curious that you haven't seen, especially since you're on like, or less so now, but on your Disney and like kids
yeah.
slash
No,
family
like
movie kick.
I mean, in a way, like there's a bunch of Disney movies, like I've at least been exposed to every single one, but like
Hmm.
I think Mary Poppins was like, do you remember those like sing along songs cassette tapes?
Yeah, there's a ton of
Did you
songs
ever
from that
have
movie.
those?
Yeah,
Yeah, like, and that's
like
probably
Chim
like
Chim
when
Cheree,
I,
Spoonful of Sugar, and like Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Like those three
yeah, like,
songs are like big Disney staples.
and those are probably like the ones like, because I had a few of those tapes when
Should
I
I
was
have the
growing
sheet
up,
music
and
for those
those
songs?
were my, yeah, and those were like my only gateways to watching stuff that was in English because I was living in Europe at the time.
So wait, when you
But
saw it, have you seen The Princess Diaries?
uh,
Either or.
yeah,
Okay,
actually,
so
yeah,
when you were watching those, you didn't realize that Disney put Mary Poppins in there?
I did not. Julie Andrews.
Yeah, Julie
I
Andrews.
I knew. I don't think I knew who she was at that point. No,
No,
no.
well, that was the big thing, is you got the new Disney princess with like quote unquote the old Disney princess.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Actually, no.
I enjoy those,
Yeah. I mean,
especially the first
I have
one.
to
I
get to
really
Mary
like that
Poppins.
first Princess Diaries. Still good.
I remember thinking it was funny at the time. Like, I was
There's
definitely
that
surprised by it. It was
moment
one of those things where I was like, no, I don't want to watch it, and then I ended up like
really
someone.
liking
I
it.
guess they had us. No, they had us watching it in school, and you're
Uh-huh.
watching it with a class full of kids, and we're laughing at all the right parts. And I remember just thinking, it wasn't that bad actually.
Moving on, Darren Aronofsky might be directing Channing Tatum in an Evil Knievel biopic. No one really knows anything. It's just a rumor. I am pretty okay with that because I like both of them, more so Channing Tatum. Evil Knievel, he passed not too long ago. Really interesting figure. Kind of started the whole Daredevil craze. Who knows? Could be good if it is in fact a real project.
I mean, anything with Darren Aronofsky's name in it is
Hmm.
bound to at least be interesting.
Yeah, even if
And
it's not good.
so,
Looking at you, the
and I
fountain.
mean, just especially, I like the Fountain.
I mean, it's just weird that a
It's interesting
filmmaker
at the
would
very least.
make a graphic novel and then adapt his own work into a movie. And that the cool thing was that he did the comic book to prove that it could be like storyboarded or whatever. But I think I watched like 45 minutes of it. I'm like, I don't understand the time jumps. I don't know what's going on, and I quickly lost
Oh,
interest. I'll try to watch it again. Like maybe when I rewatch
We
Um,
might have to do an episode on that
we could
because
do that
yeah, I mean, I do that could be a fun movie to talk about actually
after
because
I.
I think it's very obvious how the time jumps work, but everyone's got a very different interpretation of it. So, I mean, it's really a movie that you can read into a bunch of different ways. Even though for me, like, it's very clear in the way I view that movie what it is. I don't think it's that complicated or that difficult at all. It's something that you just watch, from beginning to end, and you let all the pieces of the puzzle just come to you, and you put them together. And I don't think it's that complicated, but you should check it out and give it a shot. I mean, the score for that movie too is beautiful. Clint Mansell, I think that's my favorite score that he's done for Aronofsky.
Other Channing Tatum news. I'm sure you heard Gambit lost its director, Rupert Wyatt.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, the reasons were just because of shooting. Apparently, they're shooting in New Orleans area, and they're shooting around Mardi Gras. So there's gonna be like a gap in between. I don't know exactly how it's working, but that made some date conflicts, so he had to leave the project. I hope that doesn't change the release date because it is slated for late next year. I think like October or so.
I mean, and yeah, he's left it like they're supposed to be shooting soon, right?
Yeah, like really soon.
Yeah, like they still need to get a director on board. I mean, most recently this happened with Peyton Reed, so
Hmm.
although that was for creative differences.
Yeah, this is
So
just
I
a
mean,
purely shooting schedule type thing. Like Rupert
yeah, it's
Wyatt apparently had one or two other things on his slate, and he had to get to those. And in the press release that I read, it sounded like he was really sad about it. But
I mean, I don't
that's
know. This
that's
seems
Hollywood.
probably, yeah, it seems more like a first class scenario, I'm guessing, where they just had to
Hmm.
find somebody and,
Yeah,
they had a short amount of time to do it. But I don't know. I'm not sure that one paid off too well for them. I mean,
I
evidently it
like
did
First
because
Class.
I do too, but then, it doesn't have much replay value to me. And because I'm more aware of, like, when I rewatched it, I think some point, yeah, earlier this year, I rewatched it knowing, I think I was just more impressed by it the first time because I knew what happened going in.
Hmm.
I really hope that's not the case with Ant-Man. I don't think it's gonna be, but
No, that was a fun movie. Well, it was mostly Michael
yeah.
Pena. Did you see that he's on a Android autoplay or not Android Auto commercial now?
No.
There's like a couple other stars in it too, but he's in there. I was like, hell yeah, he's getting his due. But talking about Bryan Singer, or more like X-Men and him, he tweeted slash Instagrammed a picture of his next project. It was a script of 28,000 Leagues Under the Sea. So this is finally being made. It was moving all around town for like the last decade. Like David
That was supposed to be,
Fincher.
yeah,
It
which that would have
was
been awesome.
that would have been awesome. Like a lot of people were looking at this thing, but like you can see the script itself. It's like story by Bryan Singer and blah blah blah. And so when a director, especially some of his caliber, openly embraces something like that and like posts something like that, it basically means that it's happening.
hmm I mean,
But we'll see.
like,
I'm sure this is more of a after X-Men Apocalypse comes out,
yeah, I mean, and he's probably
if it
got enough.
happens.
I mean, X-Men Apocalypse should do well.
Yeah.
Days of Future Past wasn't. It was a big hit. I don't think it was as big as. I don't know. I expected it to be bigger.
I
I
think it was
expected.
the second highest grossing X-Men movie.
Yeah, I mean, I have like a weird like I like that movie, but especially with rewatching the Road Cut, it's one of those movies where I just look at it unfairly because I hoped for so much more than what it turned out being.
I
But
liked it.
I mean, yeah, it's fine with what
It's
it is.
easy
Like
to please me with Marvel movies though because I
I
don't read
was
the source material.
I really hoped it was something more along the lines of X2, and which I know
Can't
it's
make
not fair
another
'cause-
X2.
yeah, I mean X2, but that's a movie I could take seriously. But I think between Days of Future Past and X2, like that really shows how we treat comic book properties, just how much that's changed. Like
Hmm.
Days of Future Past embraces more of like the out there stuff and has a more fun tone to it. X2 is just far more dark, far more gritty, far more serious. But I guess that's what I wanted out of Days of Future Past, especially because I loved the tone that I just got out of the teaser for that.
Did you
With
see
the
the?
Hans Zimmer Thin Red Line music, like, and
I was gonna say the post credits Wolverine sequence in the airport.
yeah, yeah,
I thought
where
that was really good marketing. That was
yeah, that
perfect.
was a cool setup for it. And I
Yeah,
really like the Wolverine.
especially since it was set in the past, like in the '70s. Like that was really cool.
You're talking about no, no, not
Yeah,
Origins
yeah.
Wolverine, right?
No, no,
The
no, no, no,
Wolverine.
no. The Wolverine, yeah, where
Yeah, no, that
you have Hugh Jackman walking through the airport, and the metal detector
yeah,
goes
it
off,
wasn't the 70s.
or it's either the 70s or the 80s, and it pans up to.
No, it was present day.
No, it totally wasn't, because it was
Yeah,
set.
no, it was present day. They have cell phones in that movie. It was present day.
I don't know. I
Like it
thought
was
that
set after the
sequence took
events of
place
X
during
three.
the Days of Future Past. Whatever they tilt up
The sequence is
to
yeah, it's at
the TV, and it's like where they're talking about Bolivia Trask and the Sentinel program, and I was like, ah,
yeah, no, that was present day. I mean, the whole movie for the Wolverine it takes place after the events of X3,
yeah.
for pretty obvious reasons, and yeah, that credit sequence it's right after the end of the Wolverine. It's just setting you up for what comes in the future. I mean, and it's a
I'm
fun
looking,
setup. It
I'm looking forward to this next
yeah,
Wolverine. Well, the final supposedly Wolverine movie.
I yeah, I mean, is he in Apocalypse?
I'm pretty sure he is. I don't know if it's gonna be a major role, as he's busy with other things. Well, maybe not because the Greatest Showman on Earth, I believe the name of the title is, that got pushed back a year, maybe for X-Men reasons. So I don't know. Plus, Pan's not getting good reviews. So
Yeah, which is a bummer. I mean,
it looks great.
I like Joe Wright's stuff a
Hmm.
lot enough. I mean, visually, I'm sure he'll knock it out of the park.
Yeah.
I know, they've been going on about how they really, really, really put thought into the 3D for the movie and how they really made
Yeah,
it specifically for that. So,
I saw the trailer a couple times in 3D. It looks really good. I mean,
yeah, it
I'm
looks
not
really
interested in the
fucking
movie,
cool.
but the 3D stereoscopic cinematography looks really cool.
It looks beautiful. Yeah,
Hmm.
I mean, it's total eye candy. But you know what? I gotta stop you right here for a second. But like, did you see
I
the
wasn't even
unrated
talking.
cut? Yeah, no, no, just okay. But back on Wolverine, like, just because this went through my
No,
mind,
no.
like, okay,
I
you
don't
saw
know.
the movie.
Maybe.
You didn't see the unrated cut?
I'm not sure.
You're not sure? Okay, well,
Like, I think I might have. I don't know. The only thing I remember about that movie, to be honest, is because I did it. I watched it like back to back with the new Ninja Turtles movie, and so I had like an accidental Metal Samurai robot double feature, which was
interesting.
really
Okay, let
weird.
me ask you this: the town that he's in, the small Japanese town, are
Uh,
the walls of that town painted in blood?
yeah, I think so. I don't
Okay,
know.
then you probably saw the unrated cut if that's the case, because that's an entire action bit that was not in the original theatrical version.
Not sure. Other
Well, I thought it was fucking
uh,
cool, but okay, let's keep going.
other directors, kinda. Elizabeth Banks is apparently being tapped to direct and produce a new Charlie's Angels movie. They're gonna reboot that series. So fuck you, McG.
Hey,
Um,
that movie's fun though.
yeah, those movies are fun. I
It
really
really is.
like
Yeah.
when Drew Barrymore falls out of the clubhouse and then she's like at those kids' house and knocking on
Yeah.
the door in the bed in the fucking whatchamacallit, the
Just
sheet.
the way that scene is set up too with that Marvin Gaye song,
Yeah.
like it's a really fun movie, man.
Who is the guy?
Sam Rockwell?
Was it Sam Rockwell?
It was Sam Rockwell.
Very cool. Speaking of him,
Yeah.
um, he's in that movie Mr. Right with Anna Kendrick, the other film that is written by Max Landis. It just premiered at TIFF, aka the Toronto International Film Festival. It was sold to Focus World, got rave reviews. Sounds like it's amazing. Well, there's a couple things at that film festival that got the same kind of recognition, or not recognition, but applause. Um,
Charlie Kaufman.
yeah.
Yeah.
How do you pronounce it? Animalisa?
I don't know Anna Malacia.
That sounds more
I've
accurate.
seen the word like on headlines, but I've
Uh-huh.
never really paid attention to how to pronounce it or how I've never even said it out loud.
Yeah,
But
me either.
we'll just call it Charlie Kaufman's latest project.
Yeah, Charlie
which,
Kaufman's
wow.
R-rated stop motion project.
Yeah, which
It's coming out
apparently
this
has
year.
cunnilingus, so you got to see it for that just alone.
It's gonna come out this year.
But I mean,
Paramount's
yeah,
distributing it around December.
Charlie Kaufman has just been gone for too long. Like his last movie was Synecdoche, New York.
Which I still haven't seen. I need to see it.
I haven't seen that since theaters, and I have it on DVD too.
I got to see it because of Philip Seymour Hoffman reasons.
Yeah, I didn't get it back then, but interested
I
by
know
it.
the
So
premise.
I do want to
He's trying to
rewatch it. Yeah,
create a recreation of New York inside a building,
yeah.
right, or something like that.
I've read more and more pieces like on it like since it's come out, and
Uh,
I really want to revisit it and just look at it again. I mean, I think it's a fascinating movie regardless. Like the experience I had with it is it's one that I didn't understand, but I couldn't help but be drawn in by.
hmm
So I mean, yeah, just I really want to check it out again for that alone. But yeah, I mean, an Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. That's one of my favorite movies of all time. Like,
Yeah,
just probably like one of the most emotional experiences I've ever had with a film. I mean, it's just incredible. I mean, this guy has been
I
gone
think
for way too long.
I
Like,
think
I
that's the
really want
movie
to.
that I like think about internally the most. Like I don't reference it often, but I like just in passing, like something will happen and I'll flash like a scene with Clementine or like certain shots, and I don't know why. Like I've only seen it,
Yeah, I
I
mean,
believe, once or twice. It's just one of those movies that sticks with you.
it's weird. Like as far as favorite movies of all time, like it's one where when I say it, I kind of think, well, why is that? But then I see it, and it's
Real
just for me
personal
personally,
story.
yeah, it's one of those films that just like
Like most
really
people that have
resonates
been
like
in a
on a far deeper
relationship can connect on a real personal level.
Yeah, I mean, but and especially at the time that I saw it, that was in high school. Like, I have
hmm
not been in a relationship that I think is probably at the scale of that movie. Like, but yet it's I don't know. It's just really interesting. I don't know why it hits me that hard, but I don't know. It just does.
Hmm.
I don't know. Maybe it's because like of other fears that I have. Like, I don't want to lose anything in my mind too. But I mean, yeah, there's a lot there. It's a great movie, and I really want to see what Anna Malassi. I'm
Whatever it
butchering the
is.
name. Yeah, I really
The
want to
next
see
one.
what he's got because he's been gone for too long. I mean, Adaptation is such a good movie. Like,
Well, it's the only thing better than one Nick Cage is two Nick Cages.
yeah, and I mean, I haven't seen Being John Malkovich in a long time. I really liked it back then, even though it was really fucking weird. Like, I haven't seen that movie since high school, man. Like, have you seen it?
I don't think I've seen that since like elementary school.
Being John Malkovich?
Yeah, it came out like
Really that
'99,
far?
right?
I know
Yeah.
we saw clips of it in film theory, but
It has a really
I
interesting, like it's shot in like a really interesting way, like the colors, and it really conveys the tone really well. And just like Cameron Diaz looking like grimy and falling out of the sky and landing into like the side of the road in New Jersey, just
yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, it's such a weird movie. I didn't even know who John Malkovich really was though. When
No,
I saw
yeah,
it, like, yeah, he wasn't that big.
he's much bigger
Yeah, to me
since.
now it's yeah. I mean, so
Like,
yeah, just it's Charlie Kaufman, man.
yeah.
Like, and it's stop motion and it's very adult. I just want to see what that's like.
Something that you also want to see what it was like. I mean, we were talking about kaiju last week. Pacific Rim 2 has been put on hold. The release date hasn't changed yet. It hasn't been moved. Um, but Guillermo del Toro said he's still hopeful that's going to be happening. Speaking of him, he just joined Twitter, so everyone out there should give him a follow. Yeah, his handle is real GDT. He was tweeting today. Like I don't think he's been verified yet, but I'm pretty sure it's him because Slash Film and a couple other people were like talking about him and replying to him and whatnot. Um,
Well, I'm looking into that right now.
I'm pretty sure the Pacific Rim thing has happened in response to Legendary working with Warner Brothers because Pacific Rim is one of their projects. So Universal was probably pissed off, so they fucked it off the calendar.
I mean, I don't know what's happening there. Like, I'm not too surprised by it because I know it did very well in China, and
hmm
that's reason enough to do it. But it made enough money to justify like why they would make a sequel. But it's not really a movie that demands one. And I really enjoy Pacific Rim. Like, I liked it a lot. Even then, like, just based on the ending of that movie, I don't feel it demands a sequel. And in fact, I think that one would really undercut just the final action set piece of that movie, or pretty much just the entire movie in general, with where things end up. It's not a very it's a fun mythology, but it's not a very deep one that I need to see
Well,
explored.
I don't really care for a sequel, but since Legendary is doing the King Kong versus Godzilla thing, it would be fucking awesome to have a King Kong versus Godzilla versus Pacific Rim movie. If you had them fighting the monsters, like that
And
would
then, yeah,
make
you find
for
out
a
that King Kong's still around in the future. I mean, that
yeah,
yeah, that
well,
could be
whatever.
cool.
That would
Absolutely,
make
actually.
for a true spectacle. Like King Kong comes out of what was it called? What they call it in
Skull Island.
no in Pacific Rim. The
Oh man, are you kidding me?
what do they call it? The
Out of the
realm.
the the breach.
Yeah, the breach. There you go.
Yeah.
Like if King Kong came out of that with Godzilla on his back, like at the end of their crossover movie, they fall into that and they come out and they're like surrounded by Cthulhu and whatnot.
Makes no
Of course, it
sense,
doesn't make
but
sense, but
yeah,
it'd be
but why the
fucking
fuck
awesome.
not? Like, yeah, I mean, it would be cool.
Throw in the gods from Cabin in the Woods,
I take back everything I said. Make a Pacific Rim sequel just to set all that up.
right? It could work.
I would see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So something that I actually saw last week, no, not saw, but saw on the internet last week, that we totally skipped over, even though Charlotte Copley's in it. This first-person perspective action flick called Hardcore. Have you seen this
Yeah.
trailer?
I haven't seen the trailer. It's been talked about.
Uh huh.
And I hear it's hardcore. No pun
It
intended.
looks fucking awesome. I don't know how it would work. I mean, they already shot it, but I think that would make more sense in a VR landscape or at least 3D. But watching something in point of view like that is kind of disorienting for too long, and I think it's fairly short. It's probably like on the 87-minute side.
Have you seen Enter the Void?
I've seen the opening probably like 3 times, and
Yeah, like
I get to a point where like once the out of body experience stuff happens, I really get disoriented and confused, and I turn it off.
okay, well then that might prove your point because I was gonna say that was one that really worked for me. I've only seen it once, but I mean, I just found it
I think it's
downright
fascinating,
fascinating.
especially the
Yeah,
opening credits alone.
yeah,
Like,
I mean, well, the opening credits that was just where I was hooked right away, and I was
uh
like,
huh.
okay, I'm just gonna see where this goes. I mean, that movie is 3 hours long too.
Yeah, it's
I
like two
think,
hours
or
and 23 minutes,
yeah,
I believe.
I there's two different cuts actually, but I saw the longer one. I think it's like 2 hours and 45 or somewhere around there.
It's a long. Either way,
Whatever
it's a
cut they
long
have on the
fucking
Blu-ray,
movie.
yeah, yeah.
It's on
But I mean,
Netflix
I
still.
just, yeah, I mean,
I believe so. I don't
yeah,
think they
go
took it
check
off.
it out if you haven't seen it yet. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
like I
unless
said,
you
I've
have
tried to watch it
epilepsy,
like
in which
I've tried to watch it like 3 or 4
if you're,
times.
yeah, go see it. But if you're an epileptic, don't watch it. Just you will
Well,
die on
you
the
would probably
spot.
have a
Like
seizure
you
during the
will
opening
you will
credits.
die. Yeah, like I mean that movie is not for people that have
Those
epilepsy.
fucking credits, those credits are so good. Kanye West stole them for his All of the Lights music video, like verbatim. Like it is straight. Well, I mean, he didn't because he's not the director of the music video. It's fuck, who is it? Who's the guy that directed Belly? Do you even know what movie that is?
uh,
He's prolific hip
refresh
hop.
my memory.
He's a prolific hip hop music video director, and he made this movie called Belly with DMX in it. It's on
Yeah, I
Netflix
don't think
also. It
I
came out like
know what it is.
2001. What's his name?
Yeah, I don't know what it is.
Hype Williams. There we go.
Yeah, but I mean, just going back to the first person point of view thing. I mean, I'm assuming that hardcore is doing it in one take too.
I believe so. Yeah.
Yes, I mean, like I'm guessing it would be different because Enter the Void has a lot of cheats in there. It uses first person point of view to the point where, even just simple unconscious acts like that we do all the time when we blink. It uses
It
that
uses the
to
eyelid
cut
blinking.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that way you can
I mean,
just
so
cover up a
does.
cut, which is a very great excuse for it. But then it also goes into just different, spaces where, I mean, because that the movie's about a guy who dies, and you follow his
Drugs.
point of view, even when he's hovering, and
Yeah, and
it also
drugs.
it like goes to just memories of the past using like over the shoulder like third person point of view shots. So it really it doesn't maintain the first person thing the whole time. I mean, it could get very boring if it did. That's entirely possible, but I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how hardcore does it.
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
mean,
because this is a gimmick. I'm sure. Like,
oh yeah,
it's
definitely.
not like it's this going to change the way that movies are done. It's just
It could be
presenting
like
one in a new light.
I said though, it could be a forebearer for VR future films because if you're doing
Absolutely.
something in VR, it basically has to be first person point of view, or you have like free range point of view in a like while a movie's taking place. Um, but I don't know. But like talking, you talking about Enter Void. Like I haven't seen that yet, not entirely. I also haven't seen Diving Bell and the Butterfly entirely, which does similar things with point of view, especially with blinking eye movements and
I
things like
think
that.
that's mainly in the opening of that movie. I haven't seen that movie since theaters, but
Mm.
uh, yeah, that was a really good movie
I
at the
was just gonna
time.
say, like both of them, they're the same kind of realm, artsy fartsy stuff,
I feel
which I
like yeah,
usually
like
stay away from, or I try to watch, but maybe not enjoy.
I wasn't like Diving Bell and the Butterfly. It didn't resonate with me as deeply as it did with other people, but I thought it was a solid foreign film for that year.
It's on
That
Netflix too, I
was
believe.
yeah. I mean, I basically I thought it was Oscar bait. Didn't make that big of an impression on me, but it's still a really good movie. Enter the Void is it's really something that is
Psychotic trip.
it's very unique. Like
No,
I mean, it's just it's really fucking. You have to see it to believe it because it goes in some really strange places, and I don't want to give away like
well, just don't say anything
like
then.
it does things very absurd, and it also does things that are just very shocking and downright disgusting, like
Nope,
that.
I'm stop you there. So moving to the
Yeah,
opposite end of the spectrum, completely away from point of view and artsy things, Justin Timberlake and Anna Kendrick are starring in a Trolls musical adaptation from DreamWorks. If you don't understand what that means, you remember those troll dolls that were a big hit during like the 70s and 80s and early 90s? They're like little trolls with neon colored hair and big eyes.
yeah,
Those are getting a movie
like that.
and it's a musical.
Okay,
I kind of want to see it.
That's all I got to say about
I
that.
kind of want to see it.
I mean, it's really just another case of bringing back old properties from the past that were popular, and I mean, I guess that's there's really no reason to do it, but it's feeding into your nostalgia. But I guess that's fine for you. I just kind of remember seeing those things. It's not
Hmm.
that big a deal to me, but sure, why not?
Can't be worse than that second Smurfs movie. So
I mean, hey, it's not even that big of a property anyway, so they could do
they
something
they were like a
cool and fun
a
with it.
pretty big
Like,
craze. Like it lasted
yeah,
over a decade, and
well,
I'm
this is
sure.
early '90s mainly.
No, like this was. I believe they were created in like the late 50s, early 60s or something, and they just sold pretty well. Like it wasn't a fad. Like they sold for years and years. Like I said, decades. And yeah, they like tampered off in the early '90s, mid '90s. And I
Well, I mean,
remember seeing them around because my brother had them.
yeah, did kids like have them as toys when you were a kid? Because I mean,
No, it was
yeah,
like
keep in
it
mind, my
died a little bit
childhood is
before that.
yeah, my childhood's fairly different from yours. I mean, that wasn't a
Yeah,
thing that was that big
yeah,
where I was.
no. They were kind of gone by then. But like this movie's definitely gonna attempt to create a resurgence. That's kind of the point with these, basically product placement movies. Like when you use it's not property but a toy. Like I'm sure Transformers toys. Like if you look at sales numbers before and after, not only just the first film but every subsequent film, there's got to be like crazy spikes. Like because I watched some of the Transformer shows and I'm sure still have one somewhere. Like I owned one or two. And but if I was that age when the movies came out, oh my god, like I couldn't have been able to get enough. So Hasbro, they know what they're doing, especially plugging it in TED 2. So I'm sure Trolls is going to try to recapture that same kind of thing, especially if DreamWorks goes to Universal. Like that'd be wow. Um, Speaking of Universal, we were kind of talking about this a second ago when we were talking about China. Universal's opening a theme park in Beijing. So they're really pushing for that foreign market.
Yeah, I mean, and that makes absolute sense as
Hmm.
far as just business. I mean, they're having one hell of a year, and Chinese grosses, I'm sure, is a
Huge.
major part of that. Probably more so than even here.
Yeah. Well, depends on
Yeah,
the
I
movie.
mean, I have not looked into the like we know for Jurassic World and Furious 7
Yeah.
and even Minions that foreign grosses have to be very huge. I don't know if maybe even something like 50 Shades of Grey could be big there. I
I don't
don't even
know.
know
Maybe
actually.
not in China
I
because
don't
they
know.
have
That may
pretty big
name
censorship.
they're very selective too of what
Yeah.
gets into about 20 films a year from the US make it there. Uh who knows if that made it there, but it was international, like worldwide, just a big hit. It wasn't just here in the States. So
hmm
I don't know. Wouldn't that be interesting if that
I mean,
was
there's
one of
other
them?
Chinese interesting things happening. Warner Brothers just announced a joint venture with China Media Capital, who you might see, before a couple of films, CMC, which is like a market, or not a market, but it's basically a company that's owned by China directly, in so many words. And so this collaboration, they're making Chinese language tent poles. Warner Brothers owns 49%, or like they have a 49% stake in the new joint venture, and CMC has 51. So you got two of the majors having pretty major moves for the Chinese market.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if we start, because I mean, it used to be that on an international level they wouldn't get a release until months, or it could be a year after we got it. But now we've been seeing more and more that they get uh, the blockbusters before we even do. So I don't know. Like,
I mean, that does. It's still. I don't know. They're still sort of getting different cuts, or in some cases, the same
mm,
cut. Like they do have
depends on the
some
movie.
saying final cut. I
Yeah.
mean, Pixels. Yeah, that was rewritten just for the sake of not making the Chinese look so bad or incompetent in that.
Well, yeah, there was a
Um,
sequence on the Great Wall of China, so
yeah, we
which could have been
had.
good.
Yeah, I mean, we had this conversation, but I mean, this could suck for the sake of just artistic freedom and I mean because it is China.
Well, I
They're very
mean, it
big on
is.
censorship.
We're thinking about this as outside looking in, but it's the same way here. It's just instead of the government's the MPAA. They
Yeah, but
say
I
they have.
mean
I
the
mean,
MPA is just it's not censorship really. It's
it
just
almost is.
setting a list of rules of like, okay, just
We we
this
talked
age
about
range
this
cannot see your film.
off. Uh, Not on the show. We talked about this film's not A rated. You need to watch it because they go. MPAA is not the problem. It's who's on the board, like who actually does the selection. So watch that movie. It's not as accurate as it
Yeah. No,
was
no, no, no. And
when it came out.
I know, I get what you're saying though
Yeah.
too, but I'm saying that's very different from government censorship.
Oh yeah, it's definitely
And this is
different.
a
But
film podcast, and I'm not going to get into my thoughts on that, even though I do. Part of me does wonder, though, and I don't mean to get into a political conversation, but with the stock market, going down in China recently, and just their economy doing so well, I wonder if a burst is going to happen, like pretty soon, where
anything's
their
possible.
economy just goes down. Like, I mean, this might. We'll see.
I
I
mean, the
mean,
stock
I'm
market,
not.
it's not ups and
There's
downs.
a lot of
It's a cyclical thing. It goes in circles, just like most things, like the
yeah.
seasons or fads or
I
whatever.
mean,
Like there is a
there's a
cycle
lot of
to it.
different there's a lot of different grounds I could cover on this, and none of them would be interesting for what this podcast is supposed to be. So I'm
Yeah.
just gonna shut up now.
Um. So other huge things, but not that big. Despite Hitman tanking, Square Enix, the company that owns not only the Hitman franchise but also Tomb Raider, is looking to reboot Tomb Raider. Maybe that's not exactly them, but Hollywood. Who made Tomb Raider? Was it Lionsgate?
That was Paramount, I think.
I want to say it was Lionsgate.
Lionsgate
No, no,
was
that's not
not.
true. No,
No, they were not that big enough of a studio back then
yeah,
to
I think
be
they
able
would
to
do it
fund something like
today.
that. Oh, today, yeah, but I
Yeah,
don't think they were more into. They were more known for like smaller, low budget horror films
yeah.
at that point, I think.
Who was it? Who did
I'm
show?
pretty sure it was
I
Paramount.
want to say it was Paramount too. I just want to make sure.
All right.
Come on, come on. That shouldn't be difficult. Yeah,
Paramount.
it's Paramount. So, I don't know. I don't know why they would want to do that. It makes sense because they just rebooted the Tomb Raider franchise in the video game universe. So that would make sense. Especially like it would make sense in the same way that not too long ago they rebooted the DC universe, and then that's when they made the DC like movie universe, but that doesn't really share the same storylines or anything. Whereas they could potentially do that. But I think it's interesting because the first Tomb Raider film is the first ticket stub I have in my ticket collection.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, well, that's yeah, good for you. Did you like it back then?
Yeah, definitely like it. What's not to
Yeah,
like? You got Angelina
I
Jolie
don't know.
wearing skimpy
I
clothing in icy environments and holding guns and shooting people.
I barely remember the movie,
I
honestly.
remember both of them. I remember the second one being really bad.
I never saw the second one.
Good.
I remember seeing like really fake CGI in that trailer, but I mean, as far as like why they would want to do it, I mean, I'll tell you why. Like it's a female-led action movie. I mean, I mean, and that is kind of it's being made a big deal right now. I mean, even they're trying to get a female director specifically for this. I
Yeah.
think on the short list, even Catherine Bigelow's on there,
Yeah. Yeah.
and which I mean, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. It's just it's kind of funny that you specifically want a female director and a female voice in there,
I
but your
thought the same
screenwriter is
thing.
Envid Doherty. Like, your screenwriter is
Yeah.
a guy
The
who's a good
producer's
writer,
probably a
but
guy. The
I
person
mean,
who's the
yeah,
chair, all the people in the chair for, I'm assuming Paramount would be making
yeah.
this are men.
I mean, I'm just getting annoyed now whenever I hear like, oh, for Black Panther, we want to get an African American voice out
It's
there. It's like,
kind of
hey,
like
it's great that they want more minorities out there, but it's just when they say that that's specifically what they wanted, and then
no, I'm
people
with
praise
you.
it, it still
Yeah,
feels like, yeah, it's not like, oh, we want a
it's
great
like
director on
affirmative
this. It's like,
action.
oh, we want a great director. Like, it's still like we're treating them the other, but we're being nice about it.
Yeah,
It's weird. I
Uh,
mean, it's like can't we just get someone who's great and is right for the material and I mean,
it's all about being politically correct and whatnot,
at the
and
same
there's
time,
a
it's
certain
like we
sense
kind of
of
have to be that way right now.
yeah, but I mean, there's a certain sense. Like for
Yeah.
instance, if there was another film coming out, okay, if Brokeback Mountain was made tomorrow, it
Hmm.
would have to be a white gay director. Period. Like Ang Lee wouldn't be good enough. An Asian director wouldn't be able to tell an American love story about basically homosexuals.
I think it's more interesting that like someone like him did it because that's
Hmm.
just, I mean, if it's a gay man that does it, then your reaction is just going to be like, oh, that's a gay movie made by gay people for gay people. Like, I mean, the fact that there's so much more diversity within that production just I mean I didn't really care for the movie that much. I think it's more of a product of its time. It
Well,
may have
you
been
saw
much more
it
effective back then.
much.
Yeah,
You saw it a decade after it came out, so
yeah. I mean, and I remember just I remember all the controversy behind that movie, and I
see,
mean,
I
everyone was making jokes about it, but
I
yeah, I
remember
didn't see
everyone
it back
making
then.
jokes and like even worse than that, the fact that if like in that time span, like it was like a time capsule. Instead of people saying like that's so gay or that's so homo, instead they said that's so Brokeback. Like I remember that really well. Like it was horrible, especially after I saw the movie. I'm like, okay. Eh,
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know. Moving on though, we like that. That's
I
a
mean,
whole nother. That's a like that could take
well,
a
yeah, but
whole
okay, yeah. I
hour
mean,
to talk
the
about
the
that
main
kind of
thing
thing.
the main thing I was saying with Tomb Raider is
Yeah, they're
that
trying
yeah,
to get a
that's a
woman
female-led.
director. Yeah,
Yeah, but I mean that's also that would be a movie with a female protagonist. Which I mean, you look at
which is
last
a good
summer,
thing.
there
Yeah.
were
Well, this summer,
quite a
yeah,
few female-led. Yeah, I mean, just this year in general,
a
there were
lot.
quite a few
And we
female-led
talked about
blockbusters, and
last week. We
that's
got Jupiter Ascending,
hmm
Mad Max.
yeah. Even though it was more
Was marketed the
it
other
was Tom
way.
Hardy's name that was marketed.
Yeah,
Yeah, but I mean, you even have Tomorrowland, which
yeah.
that was a big risk, and I still like that movie. And I mean, yeah, it kind of works there. I mean, what
50
else
Shades
is
of
there?
Grey.
Uh, that might undercut that point right there.
Well, it is a
I
female-led
don't
blockbuster.
that doesn't seem like a strong female protagonist.
I'm not saying it was. I'm just saying
But
that
I
it
haven't seen it, so
was a big budget, hugely anticipated movie that starred a woman.
yeah. I mean, and well, what else do we? I mean, oh, Inside Out.
Animation's kind of pushing it though. That doesn't really count.
Yeah, yeah, but that's still a more female
Yeah.
centric, big budget story. Like,
Sure.
I mean, it's not just for the little girl, but I mean, for Amy Poehler and
Yeah. When you
what's her
said that, I
face, whoever
imagine
plays Sad
you meant
Sons.
Joy
Yeah,
because that's the star.
yeah, and I'm just but yeah, there is more stuff. I mean, that is why I think it makes sense to do it in Hollywood, and it's probably, I think it would make more money or has more appeal than something like another Hitman movie.
Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, especially if you get quite a pretty big star there that has, the sex appeal, then yeah, you're bound to get guys in there too. I mean, there is plenty of reasons to make that movie, I think. Yeah.
I don't know. I just
That's my point. Just yeah.
we haven't we haven't shown that a video game adaptation is a good idea yet because there hasn't been a good one. And
But
so
it could still be a fun movie. I mean, it's
maybe,
basically just Indiana Jones with a girl, right?
yeah, but I mean,
Yeah. Why can't that be cool?
I'd say it's not cool. I just said apparently they're trying to make one.
Yeah, I mean, that's all you kind of have to do. You just have to make a fun action movie. Don't think too hard, but hopefully that works out.
Yeah. So Michael Fassbender is returning in the Prometheus sequel, whatever it's going to be.
Hmm.
Should call it Quest for Fire. That'd be interesting.
Is he just going to be ahead?
I don't know.
Probably
You
not. They'll find an excuse to give him a body.
you
But
can create if you're an android. Spoiler: you can create another one.
yeah, I mean, I don't know if they give him like a different kind of body, not necessarily a humanoid one. That would be very very interesting.
I just
But
they have to have some kind of angle because in all of the Alien movies, there's always an android that you aren't aware is one, and they always have names that start with B. By the way, Bishop. Uh, what?
no, no, no. No, it's in fact, what's interesting is that it's always gone down in alphabetical
Oh, that's
order.
what it
First
is.
one, A is Ash, B
Bishop.
Bishop, C Call, D David.
That's what it is. So
Yeah.
they're obviously going to do something similar like that. It's always you didn't know. If I wish I could go back to the time of seeing the first Alien and not knowing that Ash was an android. That would have been really scary.
I did not know, honestly. Like, my first viewing for that movie, I did not even expect the chestburster scene to happen.
See, I'd seen
Like,
I knew because it was part of pop culture. Like seeing Spaceballs. Like you knew it
yeah,
was going to happen.
I mean, it was so. That's I'm so glad that I wasn't really looking into the internet when I was watching these movies for the first time on HBO because all that stuff was never spoiled for me. I mean, yeah, I'm sorry. I feel bad for you there.
Well, no, I mean I saw this
Yeah.
movie so young. Well, all the movies really.
But you knew that it was coming. I
Yeah,
mean,
like I knew just because I knew,
yeah.
either through passing or, like I said, references in other texts, or whatever. Maybe I didn't know the first time, but then it was part of my subconsciousness or whatever. Like when something's so big, for instance, I don't think I've ever seen the entirety of The Exorcist. Oh no, I've maybe once. I don't know.
But you know about
But I know everything because
the
like
major
I've
lines,
seen
yeah.
Scary Movie 2, or I've seen GIFs online, or someone's made a reference or a joke, or I've seen a picture, or whatever. Like it's just part of the subconscious. Like it's part
Yeah.
of the pop culture. Like it's like symbiosis. Like it just is. Like it. Like, I've never read the Bible, but I know most of the story of Jesus. So that's just how it works when it's so popular, when it's so well known.
Yeah, I mean, there are movies like that, but then the really great ones, I think at least they still have really great stories that you're still able to be invested in. Especially with The Exorcist, I went into that knowing what all the main
The
lines
head.
were and all the landmark scenes, and yet it really is just a great story about this priest who's lost his faith and he's struggling to regain it, and he just goes through this journey through this girl's possession. And I mean, it's really well told, and aside from all the like iconic moments that you already know, I think it resonates on a different level. If you're going in just looking for the stuff that you expect to be there already, then yeah, you're not really going to enjoy it that much. But I mean, yeah, that's to me, like, that's a big thing of what makes it clear that a movie at least holds up, but beyond just those little moments that everybody's fucking ruined.
Maybe it's less ruined, but
I mean, it's like, for me, like, one movie when I was a kid that let me put it this way. I can't remember a time where I did not know that Darth Vader was Luke Skywalker's father.
hmm
Like, I never had that reveal. In fact,
like
I
I said,
fucked
it's
up and saw
part of.
Jedi first before Empire, so
How's that even happen?
it's stupid. I remember, it was my fault, but yeah, I thought Return of the Jedi just sounded like a cooler title, so I wanted to watch that instead.
Well, that's smart. I mean, since you already talked
Like, no,
about
yeah.
Star Wars, I guess that's a good enough segue as any.
All right.
There's been a
I
good
really
enough
steered
stuff
us
that
away.
happened this week. So, Force Awakens, the pre-sale is supposedly going to start in late October, which is something that I've been curious about because you would think with something this big that it would already be available to purchase tickets for because it's most undoubtedly going to sell out for those midnights as soon as it goes online. It's going to be like
Or
concert tickets.
yeah, well now there's 7 p.m. screenings, so it's not really a midnight.
I there's a certain feel for midnight. I think most people want to see
Yeah.
midnight anyway, especially for that kind of movie, because the
Yeah.
7 p.m. is still gonna have kids.
Exactly. I mean, it's just I don't know. I said this before. Like the true midnight movie is kind of dead,
It
or not
has to
kind
be.
of.
It
It,
has to
it
be.
basically is dead. I
It
mean,
has to be the right movie. It has to be the right genre. Like if it's a slasher flick, not a remake, but if it's like a true slasher flick, or that's kind of like the only example that exists anymore. Because most blockbusters like 7 p.m. is okay, or like the day of, it doesn't matter. But there's something about like it is a season. It's Halloween season now. Watching a horror flick at midnight, it has a certain feeling like when it's that dark. But other Star Wars news: AMC theaters they had a leak. They tweeted out on Wednesday that they were gonna do a Star Wars Saga marathon in their theaters, and they deleted it like right after. So I'm assuming this is gonna happen. That
I
would
mean,
be
why?
a ton
It
of
makes
money.
total sense
I
to do
mean, the
that.
theaters
Yeah.
do it for Avengers. They did it for the Batman movies. I think there's like one other example. So they're totally gonna do this, right?
No, there's no reason not to. I mean, like it's been done in the past. It's proven to work.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I believe it's proven to work. I've never. Yeah, actually, I've only been to one of those screenings once, and that was for the Midnight of the World's End. I did the whole Cornetto trilogy screening because I wanted to see Hot Fuzz with an audience again.
That's
And I
cool.
never saw Shaun of the Dead in the theater, and that was fun. So I mean that yeah, even that was sold out. So I
Oh,
mean it makes sense. I personally wouldn't see Star Wars that way.
I mean
Um,
I don't I'm not watching the prequel trilogy, or at least I'm not planning to as of now. But I'm definitely gonna take my original trilogy box set out and watch them in their glorious DVD quality.
you know, I know you have your other ways of watching it, but you can get a HD copy of those original theatrical cuts.
Did you know that those might be coming to Blu-ray? That's the rumor on
I
the
know
internet right
that
now.
we've heard so many rumors on that. It's very iffy because
This would be
Fox
the
will
time, though.
always.
This would
Yeah,
be the
it would
time
be,
to
and I'm
do it.
sure I'm sure Fox could strike a deal with Disney, but then again, I don't know who has supposedly Lucas says that the original negative was destroyed.
Bullshit.
Everyone else I call bullshit too, but
You can take
we
the
don't know.
VHS master copy and just turn that into a DVD. Like,
Yeah, you can, and it's been. I mean, and the Laserdisc transfers were put out officially on DVD. That's what I had for a while, and this is. I know, this is kind of a gray area because it's not illegal, but as far as fan edits, like the policy there is that if you own the original work, then you're allowed to download a fan edit. And there is a copy of the theatrical versions that are out that were restored in HD by this guy named Harvey, and they're called the Star Wars Despecialized Editions. If you have the original cuts, then you can legally get those. Like you can
oh, I
legally
mean, I
download them.
don't.
I do have, yeah, I have the
Wait, do I? I
Despecialized
don't know.
Editions too. Yeah,
I have
and
the DVD box that they put out when they first did Star Wars on
yeah,
DVD.
the
So I
limited
don't.
edition.
Yeah, with the
Yeah,
fourth disc that has a ton of special features, like 6 hours
yeah.
worth. It's even that box set is so cool. If you put that fourth disc into your original Xbox, it's a Battlefield 2 demo.
I still have that disc set, but yeah, you can. That's how fan edits work, and this is a work of fan restoration, and
Hmm.
it's a pretty damn impressive one. Like there are some shots that obviously look a little shoddy, but there is so much attention to detail put into just restoring the fucking the movies, like just down to the color changes. I mean, I burned I bought a Blu-ray burner just so I could put that trilogy on my Blu-ray shelf, and I made my own. I printed out my own cover art for that, So I have the despecialized editions on Blu-ray, and for what they are, they absolutely look great by high definition standards.
Hmm.
I mean, you can get them. I'm just telling you that right now. It's not as far as I know, it's not illegal. That's how fan edits work, and if you own the originals, then you are legally able to get your own copy of this without
Well, I
any
mean,
problems.
I got my copies, and they might not be theatrical, and that's not a big deal to me. But it is cool that it might happen. And even if it doesn't, the other rumor, and this seems like it's true, is
I mean,
that the
it'll be
entire
nice, yeah.
saga is coming to Netflix.
Which, yeah, why should they should do
I
that? I
mean, it
mean,
makes
there's so many
sense.
people,
Yeah, it
yeah.
makes sense for a couple reasons. One, that people found actual pages on Netflix that are like placeholders, but then again, those could just be placeholders for whenever. But the fact that they have a deal with Disney and Lucasfilm totally makes sense. I don't know if it's going to happen right before the movie. Who knows? Anyone's guess is
Well,
as
yeah,
good
but
as mine. But I'm pretty sure it's definitely going to happen sometime soon
I mean, it
because
should.
they'd
You
be
have a
really
whole
stupid.
generation. You have a whole generation of people that have yet to see the movie, and
Yeah.
so many people have Netflix. And I've even had people at work that asked me, like, where they could get it, or if it even was on Netflix, because they want to see it, because there
Hmm.
is excitement being built around Episode 7. I mean, there's no reason for them not to put it there. It'd be stupid not to do it.
Well, the reason not to do is that they put out the Blu-ray saga like a year ago, or a little bit less than that. So Disney's still
No,
trying
that
to
was
milk
4 years
that
ago.
money.
Yeah,
No, no,
they just released them on digital.
was that? Oh,
But
that's what it was. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. Now the Blu-rays have been out
but
for
I
a
mean, the
long
digital
time.
copies are super expensive. It's like $20 for no features
Yeah, I didn't
each,
get it
20
either. I
each.
mean, yeah,
So it's 100.
you know,
You're spending $120.
I'll stick with the copies that I
Yeah, me
have. I
too.
mean,
I'm
but
good with my
like
three.
I do hope that they put out the theatrical cuts and they make it official. But I mean, just a great thing about having those despecialized editions is that it will forever live in the digital age, the unaltered, untainted Star Wars that we all grew up with. It will always be there.
I hope they also release the 3D versions of Phantom
The
Menace.
conversions.
Yeah, the conversions for the first two, because they have the Sith, Revenge of the Sith in 3D too that they just never
Yeah,
released
no,
because Disney
it's
bought
it's
them.
done.
Yeah,
Well, they still haven't released it for Attack of the Clones. They're planning on putting them
no, it's
out
out
soon.
there. Like at
I
Star
want to.
Wars Celebration, the last 2 years, you're able to watch
No,
it.
yeah, they showed it for Attack of the Clones, but it hasn't been screened to like the general public
No,
yet. There hasn't been a
but
theatrical
what
release
I'm
or
saying is it's definitely out there. And if they're gonna release the theatrical
yeah.
cuts, why not make like a Super Saga Super Collector's Edition that has the theatrical and the re-release cuts for the original trilogy, plus the regular and 3D cuts for the prequel trilogy, and do them all in one giant box set, kind of like they do for the Phase 1 and Phase 2 for the Avengers. Do something like that, because people would definitely pay like $250 for a set like that, especially if it's really cool. Like if all the discs were inside a replica of the Death Star or something like that. Like that would sell easy. That's
I mean,
sell like
I would get
gangbusters.
I would get the 3D disc for Revenge of the Sith. I mean, as far as prequels, I'm not a prequel hater. I've said it before, and I still fucking love Episode
It's
3
the music
like
though.
so
Don't
much.
don't act like the movie's good. It's just the music.
Oh no, the movie I do think it's a legitimately good movie actually. It's the music is incredible. Like that's probably the best thing in there,
I'm
but
sorry
I think
they
it's
showed
I think
off
it's
this really cool bad guy.
uh
Okay, what's the real? It's not Darth Sidious. It's Count Dooku. Yeah, Grievous.
General
There you go.
Grievous,
General Grievous.
Count Dooku.
They show him off, and then he's in the movie for like 20 minutes. And the way he dies is so lackluster and so horrible. Like apparently in the Clone Wars TV shows, like he's a much bigger
Yeah, I mean
baddie and he
it's
has a much better role. But I was like, oh my god, 4 lightsabers. Oh no, it means nothing.
that build up with it, just the sound of that when he was just fucking flipping them. Dude, I love that moment. I mean,
And we gotta move on. We could talk about Star Wars all night. We do have to move on. We do have a show.
we'll have this conversation eventually.
I'd like not to make this another 2 hour episode. It's probably gonna get close to that, but whatever. Like as long as I can try to escape it. In other fanboy news, Lego Dimensions, which I've probably talked about before, it's part of the Choice to Life genre of video games, up there with Skylanders and Amiibo, and Disney Infinity. It was announced earlier this week that they've retained most of the original voice talent for the properties involved which includes Michael J. Fox as Marty McFly, which is like a big deal. Because like you already had Christopher Lloyd, like he's in the promotions, like he's in the commercials. Um, and, like people from Doctor Who and Jurassic World, like Chris Pratt is voicing Jurassic World stuff, and also funny as it is the Lego Movie stuff. So you're gonna hear his voice twice in that game. But yeah, like, I was glad to have Michael J. Fox back in the
I mean,
DeLorean.
is he gonna even? I don't know. Where is he? Is he gonna sound the same? You think, or
Well, I mean, he's older, so
yeah?
no.
Well,
But I watched that. Well, I didn't watch all of it, but I watched that Michael J. Fox sitcom. It was just called the Michael J. Fox Show. That aired. It was about 3 years ago now, 4 years ago. Sadly, it was pulled. They didn't even get a full series, a full season. They ended it after like 8 episodes or something. But he can still act like he was on The Practice and Spin City, but it was a little bit before his Parkinson's became more of a deal. But no, like he was in 3 Stuart Little movies. Like he's good at voice acting. His problem, well, I mean it. Like
no. I'm not saying you're wrong.
yeah,
Just I
like the
forgot
reason
that
he
that was the
doesn't.
thing.
Yeah, the reason he doesn't act in front of the camera is because it's hard
Yeah,
to stay still, and like his movement is distracting for the audience, and also it's hard to memorize lines when you're being conscious of your movement.
yeah. No,
So yeah,
it's a
I'm
really
happy
bummer,
that
but
Universal was able to get him to like lend his likeness and his voice for another generation to enjoy, or the same generation as it is, let alone in this 30th
both.
anniversary year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Uh,
that's cool. I don't have much to add there. So
something else before we get into more techie things and TV news. Woody Harrelson is going to be the human villain in Planet of the Apes 8. I mean, sorry, War of the Planet of the Apes.
Planet of the Apes 8.
Yeah, it's the unofficial title.
Is that
Wait, no, it's
chronologically?
War.
Is it the eighth Planet of the Apes film when you consider
Yeah, it's
everything?
well, not well. I mean, the Tim Burton one kind of fucks it up, and it would also, I
Okay,
guess,
so
technically
excluding
be
that one.
three. I guess it would technically be three.
Uh,
I mean,
yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean,
timeline
where do
doesn't
you
matter.
stand on that series? Because I really I
I
thought
don't.
yeah.
I don't really remember watching the originals. I saw the literal original
No,
with
I'm
Charlton
talking. Okay,
Heston.
I'm talking about the reboot though.
I like him.
Yeah, no,
I like
Dawn
the
of the
last
Planet of the
one.
Apes.
The first one,
First one is
Rise.
it's a really cool movie.
Yeah,
The
like
second one
like
is
I
great.
the James Franco stuff was kind of weird. Like I didn't really like the family stuff, but it did work in terms of oh, what's his name? What's the main monkey?
Caesar.
Sorry, ape. Caesar. I
Yeah.
like what they did with Caesar, but I wasn't totally for the John Lithgow stuff or the Frida Pinto stuff.
No, I mean it wasn't as interesting, but that was one of the better movies of that summer. At least one of the bigger surprises, because I remember the trailers for that, like marketing, it wasn't it
Yeah,
just
it looked
wasn't that
pretty
appealing,
bad.
and people were kind of joking about it. It really was word of mouth though that carried that film, just for
Uh-huh.
how good all the stuff with Andy Serkis was. I mean, because it was really good.
Everyone knew on this last one though. Like everyone was talking about it, and for good reason. Like it was a really good movie. It looked great. Like oh man,
Yeah, I
this
mean,
next one should be good. Like
I hope
War
so. I
of the
mean,
Planet of the Apes. Like it's gonna escalate from the last one. Like this is probably gonna be the one that kind of sets up the real Planet of the Apes. Like when they all can speak English and they're all taking over the planet or something like that. Because who knows?
I mean, it's a
It
different
should.
series, so who knows
Well, I
how
mean,
it's going to end. But
it's the same, but not really. I mean,
I don't expect them to go with the same ending. I mean, I'm sure it'll be a much more. It'll probably feel more natural and true to our time.
can
I
you
mean, 'cause
imagine if they end this prequel or slash alternate timeline series with Mark Wahlberg again? Like if that's how it ends, that'd be so cool.
they won't do that, but
Of course they won't, but I'd be for it.
the idea is funny. I mean, who knows how it's gonna. It could, because I don't know. Have you seen the original series? Now that I'm asking again,
I haven't seen all of them. I've seen the
Okay,
original
well,
Charlton Heston. I've seen pieces of Battle and like
yeah, because I mean,
Return. But
Battle is the last one in the series, but that movie does end with them making peace, or
huh.
making it clear that peace happened, and it wasn't. it doesn't happen in the most interesting way narratively. It's just kind of like one shot of, oh, and then we found a way to live happily ever after.
Well, that's crap.
But I mean, yeah. So I'm really curious where War's gonna up. I mean, just because Don was so good, and I mean, just that final scene, just that final interaction. It really resonated with me. Like it just that really moved me. I mean, it was such a great final moment. And just that final shot too. I mean, it's such a great movie. I really hope that War lives up to it. And Matt Reeves is a very talented guy. I mean, he's proven to be a very good storyteller. So yeah, I'm looking forward to what he's doing.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Should be, I mean, it should be good. Yeah, I hope he's good.
Yeah.
Like, don't.
And you know Woody Harrelson is the villain. That's the main talking point here.
The human villain.
Yeah, I know, but dude, that
Sure,
should be
sure to be a monkey villain again as well.
Tallahassee is Tallahassee as the villain, or someone.
I hope he comes back.
I mean, or even, you know, just he can be a good villain. You know, I mean, have you seen Out of the Furnace?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was fucking.
I mean,
like just
he's good
insane
in
that.
He's good in a couple other things too.
Yeah,
as a villain.
I mean, yeah, just as a villain,
he's
he
back.
can be a real
like,
dick. Yeah.
He was never really gone, but after like Hunger Games and True Detective season 1, like people care about him again. I think it kind of started with Rampart, where he basically is a villain. Like he's an anti-hero in that movie. He's not even a hero. I don't like protagonist is the wrong word. Like he's a starry and antagonist.
He can be though just great at being that guy that you just love to hate. You know. That you just love to watch just be a total fucking asshole. Like that's great casting. I'm really looking forward to it. Yeah,
I love him in Kingpin, man. It's perfect. Last bit of star casting news I got here. This is more of like star vehicle. Brie Larson, she's starring as Billie Jean King in a film called Battle of the Sexes from the directors behind Little Miss Sunshine. Steve Carell is going to be co-starring in it as well. It's about the true story of Billie Jean King. It's hard to say fast. Having an exhibition tennis match with a retired men's champion. And that happened, I believe it was the late 70s, early 80s. It was a really big deal. And so Carell's going to be playing that tennis pro on the opposite side of the sex divide. Brie Larson, she's getting a lot of hype right now. She's in that The Room movie, which is getting Oscar buzz. It won the audience award, I believe, at TIFF. And then, obviously she was in Trainwreck and a couple of other things recently. So this should be, or it sounds like it's going to be, and I really can't see how it won't be a really good movie.
I mean, there's a lot of talent behind it, and I mean, we've praised Brie Larson quite a bit, especially, I mean, Short Term 12, like
Clash at Demon Head, man.
Hell yeah. But Short Term 12, like especially that, just like that proves that she's just such a good actress, like that she's not just like some movie star, she's not just some pretty face, like she's someone that you can take seriously, like it's basically Jennifer Lawrence except not like totally milked out yet. Like I mean, because I do think Jennifer Lawrence is talented, but she's just achieved that level of fame to the point where it's
I
like
think Brie
she's
Larson's
a full-blown
much
celebrity
better talent.
Brie Larson just hasn't been like just fully like just exposed on the same massive level. I mean, they're both talented, but I mean, yeah, I look forward to seeing what she does, and Steve Carell is a good match.
Yeah, I mean, we obviously she's in Kong
no
Skull
pun
Island.
intended.
She's in Kong Skull Island, and then plus this, she's got some big things coming up very soon. So I don't know. I'm trying to remember right now. I'm actually about to cheat. It's the movie where it's Don John, where she's in it, but she doesn't have a single line of dialogue until like the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that was cool.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Yeah,
like,
I didn't even realize that
cameo.
she was there till she talked.
Oh man. Oh, she's in Rampart. I didn't even notice that. Or didn't remember that. Anyway, moving on. I got some tech stuff to talk about because I got some. What do you want to do? TV or tech first?
Go with what you want, man.
You
will probably have more to say on both of them.
I want to do tech. So I'm not crazy. When I was talking shit on Apple last week for not doing 4K on their Apple TV, Amazon announced that the upgraded Fire TV, which is coming October 9th, so it not only supports 4K, but it's also going to have a very similar feature to the Siri compatibility called On Deck for Prime members, which not only automatically downloads content that it thinks you're going to like, including movies, but it's also getting better gaming capabilities like upgrading in RAM and whatnot and a better controller. So see, Amazon's doing it right. They won some Emmys tonight, whatever, it doesn't matter. But they're pushing forward. They're releasing a 4K device because that's the future, aka the present, whereas Apple is just hoping something happens.
But Apple has a cult. They're fine. They can be lazy
Amazon's
if they
developing a cult. Like I'm
yeah.
part of that. I am a Prime member, and I recommend it to almost everyone, and not
Oh
even
yeah,
for
no,
their movie
I
stuff.
love
Because
the
to be
2-day
honest,
shipping. Yeah,
yeah, it's the 2-day shipping. I almost
actually, it's
never
the
watch
1-day
stuff.
shipping almost for
Wait,
me.
well,
I
if
get
it's
stuff
over
within like 8 hours.
$35, if
Yeah.
it's over a certain limit. On top of that, if it's kind of outside of your range, if you live in the LA area now, it's called Prime Now. You can get 2 hour shipping on certain things.
It's getting crazy convenient, man. Like,
Yeah,
I mean,
especially
yeah,
when the
yeah,
drones get
I
here.
love, but yeah, I mean, I love Prime. Even I use Prime. Like, even just Amazon
Like
Instant. Like, yeah, if there's a TV
the
show
things
that I want to watch, I
I
do
don't even
use the season
use things.
pass.
I don't even use things on Prime that I have, like Prime Music. Don't use it. The Kindle loaning library. Don't use it.
Yeah, I don't have Kindle,
Their
but
cloud stuff. Nope. Like they have so much stuff available for Prime. I mean, yeah, it does cost a good amount of money. It's like $100 for the whole year, but it's ridiculous the kind of stuff that is included in that membership. Especially if you don't have Netflix and you want HBO content. Like they just got Sex and the City coming now. Like that's a huge get. You know how many people out there love that show or have heard good things or seen the movie but never seen the series, and now that's on there. Like it's only a matter of time until Game of Thrones is going to be on there. Obviously, once the
oh
show
yeah, no,
ends.
absolutely.
So
Yeah, I do have Amazon. I've already said that.
yeah,
But yeah, I mean, it is crazy convenient for me. I don't even have Netflix, and I prefer just using Prime because it doesn't have like as much as Netflix has, but it has enough for me.
it has
It's
a
got a
lot.
lot of
Yeah,
great stuff on there, and then yeah, I
um,
love the 2-day shipping, and
yeah.
I still have my student discount too, so I'm paying far
Well,
less.
fuck you.
So
I don't.
I'm just paying a
It,
gas tank.
it
Yeah,
will. It will run out.
it
It
will.
will expire. Yeah,
Yeah,
because it was a eye-opening moment. I was like, whoa,
yeah,
that's
but
really expensive
yeah, but
now.
I'm gonna have it for like probably 3 more years.
Fuck
So
off. Fuck off.
yeah,
But
well,
yeah,
hey,
they're doing 4K now, like tomorrow, basically October 9th.
yeah, no, no, I
We're
mean,
gonna have to wait for Apple TV 2.0 version 2 to get that, maybe if it happens.
yeah, I mean,
And
hey,
it's like
either
this isn't just like oh like like 4K. No, like Sharp is selling the first available 8K television on the market in October. It's going to cost $133,000, but it is available. It is on the market. 8K is already a thing.
yeah, even though there isn't the content for it, but
It's
you
going
know
to be
what?
here soon. I
Yeah,
guarantee it. If
yeah.
phones have 4K displays and they can shoot 4K, you don't think 8K is going to be the big hot ticket in a
No, I
year or
don't
two
doubt
from
it. I
now?
mean, and you're not wrong. Hey, okay, so Apple's behind. They'll catch up though, or they'll just release something that is even better. If I mean, that's probably the best thing that they should try to do if they want to,
They
stay
can't.
relevant. But I
They've
mean,
never been relevant. Or they were relevant until they try to go with the tide. Because they created the modern computer environment, like the Apple II computer created the personal computer. Before that it didn't really exist. They created the true MP3 player and a media player for that matter, the first true touchscreen smartphone. um, but they lost something, and maybe that was with the passing of Steve Jobs, but it just seems like they're trying to perfect what others have done already great, and I'm not sure if that's what they should be doing. Like, because people will buy their shit. It is a cult, just like Amazon, just like Sony, just like whatever. Um, but to get like Amazon didn't have some huge press conference where One Republic played music for a crowd where tons of people attended. No, Amazon just said, "Hey, guess what? We got a new one coming out next week. It's gonna have this."
yeah, I mean, it's crazy how all this stuff just is kind of happening for them, and they're still mainly just known as that shipping company. I mean, they're
Yeah,
doing
well,
really well too.
they
So yeah,
people forget this. They originated through just books. That's all they sold. They sold just books, and I mean that's why they created the Kindle. But now, like They have a $49 7-inch tablet with an HD display. $49. A replacement charger for your Apple device is more than that. It's
I
crazy.
mean, yeah, it's I mean, I don't even know if I'm actually going to get a Mac for my next computer. I might
Yeah,
just
I've
go
been thinking the
PC.
same
Like,
thing.
yeah,
I
because I mean, I
was,
know that mine's going to die pretty
yeah,
soon.
mine only has a couple more years left,
Yeah, it's
if
hanging
that.
on the last thread.
Yeah, exactly. And like originally, I was like, oh, I can't abandon Apple because I have Avid and I don't want to buy another version of Avid. Now I'm getting to the point where I'm realistically doubting that I'm gonna get a post production job anyway. So it
Oh,
doesn't
you can.
matter.
Hey, you can still do it, man.
I can do it for
Get
fun
out
and
of that
for.
post grad depression phase,
It's
man.
not depression. It's realism. It's not cynicism. It's like, oh, you want someone that does effects work and color correction and this and that? No, 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 no. I'm an editor. I'm not those things.
Yeah, just apply anyway. Fuck them. They don't know what they want.
No, they do know what they want.
Yeah,
I was looking at
no
job
one's
postings
that
today.
perfect, man. No, like when it comes to applications, you can't take that shit too seriously.
Uh,
I mean,
Last piece of
yeah.
tech news I got. Fuck the movie industry. Last piece of tech news I got is that Epix, aka the company that severed ties with Netflix, based on Netflix's own agreement, they're joining the offline viewing party. So Amazon's done it now. Epix is doing it. Netflix is the last major, really. So the
They're
pioneers kind
basically
of,
the Apple in this scenario.
yeah, the pioneer has fallen behind the times. Like
Hmm.
they have to announce it this quarter. They really do.
Yeah, I
That
mean,
before the end of the year, it has to happen now because it's becoming sad. Like they don't want the big movies anymore, supposedly because they want to push the envelope in original content, which they kind of are doing.
yeah, I mean, they're doing fine just with it. They have, big shows like Orange is the New Black and House of Cards, and
Uh huh.
even the Marvel stuff. I mean, they're gonna do fine.
That's a big thing, yeah.
Yeah,
But like the audience obviously wants it offline. They also want better apps. Like the Wii U just got their Netflix app, I believe it was. Or not just got it, but they got an update to it that supported like touch controls. But it's shit. It's like a port of the PS3 version or something. I don't know. Who knows? Just
it'll get there. They'll figure something out. Like all this stuff is still in its infancy.
no, I wouldn't say streaming is like it's
No,
past
but
infancy.
I mean
It's
the up, not streaming, but like just how it works with the Wii U.
oh yeah. Well, no, no, no,
Yeah,
no. The Wii U
that's
is
what I mean.
basically at the end of its life cycle. When a company announced a successor console, that means that it's done. And they announced the NX like 7 months ago. So yeah,
I don't know.
the games are getting pushed to the next console now. That's what that means. I got some TV news. Well, actually, there's one.
No,
I'll
no,
talk
go
about this
go
before we
for
go
it.
into
Go
TV.
ahead.
BH Tilt is a new, like not umbrella, but subsidiary basically of Bloomhouse. It's going to be using their new distribution system. It's beginning with Eli Roth's The Green Inferno. So basically, I actually read up on this. It sounds really interesting. It's kind of doing what Bloomhouse already does, but in a more sufficient and profitable way. What they're going to be doing is marketing mostly on digital ways. So whether that's on the internet or like on Instagram or whatever, that's how they're going to do it. They're going to try to stay away from radio and TV and print. On top of that, they're releasing in far fewer theaters and targeting areas that do well for horror films in general. So not only will this potentially maximize profits, but it's only going to try to advertise to people that are actually interested in their products themselves. So Green Inferno, I think it's going to be opening on like 1,600 screens,
Yeah,
which is
like
about
it's getting a fairly
600
wide
less than.
release.
Yeah, well, that's a pretty big release, but it's like 600
Yeah.
less than a big budget movie normally gets. And this might not be, but it is a Blumhouse movie. It is Eli Roth, and it has been known, like kind of hinted at or had been teased for about 2 years now. So even if it doesn't do well, the idea behind Tilt is that it's going to be really successful because they're changing the way distribution is done.
I mean, I absolutely believe it could. I mean, that's something that is also marketed specifically to a very niche market.
Yeah, I
And
want to see that movie really badly
yeah, no, I want to see it too. I mean, and
because
you know,
it's influenced by
it's
Cannibal
getting,
Holocaust.
and yeah, I mean, I every time I'm on Twitter, I see something about it. Maybe that's because I follow Eli Roth, but they're really
Well, that makes
promoting the
sense.
shit out of it, like on there. So
Like on digital, yeah.
it's getting, yeah. I mean, it's working so far. I think
I
at
want to
least
see it.
awareness
I
is
think it comes
there.
out like I think it's being released next
I
week.
think it's next week. Yeah.
Yeah, I might actually go out to see that.
Well, then we're
Try
gonna
to
have
get
to
a
review
date.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, I could try to get a date because it's like the basis for the movie is Cannibal Holocaust, and just like the concept is there's a film crew going out making a documentary and they encounter cannibals. Except this is horror, not shocking, like found footage film.
Yeah, maybe our debt to cinema this week should have been Cannibal Holocaust for
Hey,
me, at least. Yeah.
I don't know if I want to rewatch that again so soon.
Oh, you fucking pussy.
I'm not a pussy. It's not for the scary factor. It's just it wasn't the best movie, and I rarely
Yet you
rewatch
keep pushing
things
me to see it.
because you gotta watch it. Like, because you really like found footage.
We'll get into that. I mean,
Yeah, we'll get into that in
I
a couple
respect.
minutes.
I like it when it can be done well. I
Yeah.
think it can be very effective. That for sure. Yeah.
So you have to see The Grandfather. Anyway, TV news, not that important, but
See the
some really
grandfather.
huh? Yeah, it's
The
The
you
Grandfather
said
found
see.
footage.
Okay.
So TV news. Taken is being made into a prequel TV show. The concept behind it is that it's going to chronicle how he got his skills.
Okay.
He's not gonna. It's not Liam Neeson, but he's not gonna have a daughter. He's not gonna have a wife.
Yeah,
It's
I know.
more of the
It's
Batman
just a
Begins for
backstory.
the Taken universe. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Get the
which
fuck
I'm
out of
totally
here. Moving
for.
on. Just okay. Okay.
It could be
okay.
good.
All right.
Who knows?
Yeah. Well,
Similar vein, Jason Statham is making the move to the small screen with a Layer Cake sequel. Not like a direct sequel to the movie, but like the author wrote an actual sequel to that book, and so he's gonna be playing the Daniel Craig character, the man with no name, which I thought was really cool in that movie. So that could be good, just because Jason Statham, he has a fair amount of star power. He's really likable,
he's a
and
good
I think
presence. Yeah.
yeah,
I
I
mean,
think he could really work on TV. I don't know what network is picking it up. Maybe it's just in development right now, but it seems like something that would make sense, like on NBC.
I mean, it should be interesting. I mean, just the idea of a layer cake sequel in general.
Right? I
But
think the concept is like it's somewhere after the first film or after the
obviously,
film. There's only one, and it's like he's on vacation on some tropical island, and then something happens. Something falls in his lap. Final bit of TV news. Sort of, Kevin Williamson is making a time travel show for ABC based on Time After Time, which is a novel and also a film from the mid 70s, I believe it is, which I really want to see and I haven't yet. The concept is it's going to chronicle the escapades of H.G. Wells, who actually created a time machine, and the movie deals with him interacting with Jack the Ripper. So I'm pretty sure that would be the arc for the first season.
interesting.
Yeah, really cool concept. I've just never seen the movie. It used to be on Amazon Prime Instant. They got rid of it a long time ago, so I gotta find it just because that concept is like wow. Probably make for really good TV, especially because it's Kevin Williamson. I don't watch the Vampire Diaries or that shit, but I love Dawson's Creek, so I'll give it a shot. I watched like the first episode of The Following, so anything that he's involved with, I'm interested in. Last bit of TV news. This is less news than
You're killing me.
just hurrah. This is our final episode of 2 Cents before the Muppets premieres.
Oh yeah, you're gonna watch that, huh?
Hell yes. Hell yeah. I'm not
Yeah.
going to DVR. I'm going to watch it live. It comes
Okay.
Tuesday.
Yeah, you got the time to do that too.
Oh yeah.
It's
It's 30
I'm
minutes.
not,
Everyone got
I'm
the
not,
time.
I'm not against it. I hope it's good. I'm not rushing out to it, but good God, like the drama behind this.
I wouldn't say it's drama, but
It's just the internet.
the media are making a big deal about things that are fictional. Like, don't get me wrong, I love the Muppets. I do follow, Kermit and Fozzie and the Muppets account on Twitter. Not Miss Piggy because she's all over the place. Literally, she gets around. That's why you got dump bitch. Um, but yeah, like people were taking it serious. Like when Kermit and her broke up, they were like, "Oh my god, I can't believe it happened." And I was like, "How didn't you see the Comic Con footage? You should have known that it was happening. They're
You
not
know,
gonna break up in real life just on the show. The show is real life for them."
I mean, maybe it's just I want to say part of it's probably just marketing. Like, they're really pushing it to make it seem like it's a big deal. I
Oh,
don't know. I haven't looked too deeply into it. Like, I've just it's kind of a ridiculous notion to me that I've kind of tuned it out. Honestly,
well, you don't have to be part of the following, okay?
no,
The
no, no.
Muppets aren't for you. That's okay, because I can give you what you want, baby.
Uh,
So what'd you ingest this week? What did you watch or listen to or enjoy?
really nothing. All I did was I went out to the theater and I saw The Visit, which
Was that good? I heard it was
yeah,
funny.
thank God, it's M Night Shyamalan made a good movie,
It's
like
like
a
his best
legit,
since Lady in the
a
Water, right?
legit good movie. Do
Because
you
you
like
like
Lady in the
that.
Water?
No, no, you
No,
liked it.
I like Signs. I haven't seen Lady in the Water.
Oh, never mind. I was talking to someone else then. They're
Yeah,
like, it's not necessarily a good scary. It's not a scary
yeah, no,
movie,
no.
but
We
it's a good
just,
modern day fairy tale.
I mean, you and I just talked about this a couple of days ago too. But no, no, I've not seen Lady in the Water. I kind of enjoyed the stupidity of the happening. But I
Well,
was really high when I saw
I
that.
have seen your The Happening in 8 seconds, so
Oh yeah, that's right. And I did that before the movie even came out too. Like all I needed was the trailer for that.
I turned that movie off. Once
Yeah,
the
yes,
bees
I'm very
died.
proud of myself for that video. 100,000
So yeah,
views.
how
Yes.
was it? When I
But
saw the trailer for The Visit, I thought I cut you off. How many views do you have?
well, no, forget. I think it's like 100,000, whatever. But
Congrats.
anyway, yeah, keep going.
So yeah, I
Keep
saw the
going.
trailer for The
Hmm.
Visit, and like when the old lady was like, "Can you get into the oven to clean it?" I was like, "Oh my god, this actually looks pretty good."
It really is. I mean,
Was
I
it?
think
Yeah.
yeah, no,
I
I
know it's
mean,
supposed to be on the funnier side,
yeah, it is definitely because it is quite absurd and I
and
mean,
it's
old
almost
people, how
found
can you
footage,
not
right?
laugh? No.
No, just
It's
like Skype
more
calls and stuff.
it's weird because I we'll get into this later I think with you but as far as found footage I made this point I've been making this point a while back that no one's really following the rules anymore of footage necessarily just being found like
It's
it's
more them holding the camera and us seeing it in real
yeah
time,
it's just
like
kind of more of an
on a
aesthetic
display.
choice of it's more
Yeah.
of an aesthetic choice of how to present the story but here like if that's what it's supposed to be, it breaks the rules because there are titles that pop up in the beginning, like you see like written and directed by M Night Shyamalan. You see the DP's credit. I mean, so right away it just strips any sort of reality of this being found footage if you're supposed to believe that. But the way that this works is it's sort of like an amateurish documentary because one of the kids, the girl, is a young filmmaker and she's just
Well, that's
making her own
cool.
documentary and I mean so it really on that in that way it works in just an amateurish way but I mean just I think just going back to M Night Shyamalan not only is this movie like weirdly funny even though some of his humor to me just doesn't it has never really stuck with me. I've always just found his sense of humor kind of odd especially in his bad movies where it just is kind of creepy to watch the fucking hot dogs and the happening. I don't know. I'm pretty sure that's supposed to be funny but you remember that, right?
I told you I turned it
That
off.
joke. Okay. Okay. Well, never
I
mind.
barely got into that movie, and I went, "What's going on here?"
Yeah. You guys like hot dogs? They get a bad rap. Hot dogs are
Okay.
very underappreciated. Like, dude, people are killing themselves, and that's all you can talk about. Well, I'd rather actually listen to a
And
guy
the
talk about hot
bees.
dogs than.
What happened to the bees?
All right. Yeah, but no. Shit. Where was I? Yeah. No, I lost my space. Where was I?
You're talking about it's
I'm talking
funny.
about the visit. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, it's funny. But here's the thing: is like what he does really well is that he gets really good performances from everybody, especially these kids. I mean,
Hmm.
like it's really essential for like a children in peril film. Like, what really works is that if you get great performances out of them and you sense that they're actually endangered, like I think it's a good trick because you see if kids are in trouble like that will get you really invested in the danger and you will be fucking scared for them and I think that really works to the movie's advantage is that I was genuinely worried about them and I don't know if I'd necessarily I guess it counts as a horror film because it's M Night and it's a Blumhouse production But I mean, yeah, there are some very eerie, unnerving moments that even though it's kind of cheap and just goes for like the obvious in your face jump scares, like these characters, like they're very well realized. The performances are very good, and you really worry for these kids and the situation that they're in. So I mean, yeah, just on that level, it's good. But also, I can't. There's no way I cannot talk about this, but
Is that
the
a spoiler?
twist.
Don't
Well,
talk about it.
I won't say what it is, but you know what? I did not see it coming. I'm sure that there's some people like out there that will claim that they did, of like, oh, I thought of that ahead of time, but it is a very, very good misdirection because there's so many possibilities of what could be possibly going on, and then by the time that you find out what's really happening, it like everything just adds up, and it's by no means is it like a masterpiece or anything, but it's a
Hmm.
really fun, really well put together movie, and
Yeah, I want to see it. I just want to pay
yeah,
money. Like it's a Netflix for me. Like it's definitely a
no, no,
Netflix.
no, it's a fun movie with an
Hmm.
audience, man. Like
Oh, I
that's
bet.
how
I
I saw
just
it. Yeah.
it's not even about me being scared of the because it is the season. Like I'm gonna start doing my Halloween movie. I'll probably start doing it sometime this week, to be honest, because like Halloween events have started, so it's kind of like it's happening. Like the commercials are there, and they have the Halloween places in the stores. So I'm in the mood now. Like now I'm like I'm having withdrawals from like I was working the Queen Mary a year ago now, and so like like I'm in the mood, and I would be like me, like maybe if I can find someone to go see it, but I'd rather save my money and see The Martian next week. You know?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's a fun movie with an audience, and I think he did a good job writing it, even though there's some of his,
He didn't write the
traits
whole
as a
thing, right? He had like
screenwriter.
co-writer credit.
I think the credit's only written by M. Night Shyamalan. I think it's just him.
Yeah.
But I mean, he does have this need to like pay off everything as far as introducing character traits. Like, a very infamous one is in Signs. The swing away, scene. You remember what I'm talking about?
No,
No,
I've
have
only
you
seen that
Signs?
once. Yeah, I've seen
Yeah,
it
no,
once.
the
I've
swing
seen
away scene,
I've seen Unbreakable two or three
Joaquin,
times.
yeah,
Two
Joaquin
times.
Phoenix's character was like, a really good baseball player. He was a really good batter, and they tie that in a way that, when you think of it, is kind of ridiculous in the end.
No.
But I don't know. I think that might bother some people. I thought it was nice to see him give that much attention to character and to see them be that well realized.
You should go out and find I don't know the name of the episode, but you should find the episode that M Night is on for Entourage. 'Cause I think you'd really like it.
I'll make a note of it.
If I want to take a guess that it's season 4B or 5. It's about halfway through the show.
Yeah. Well, I
I
mean,
know I remember the
I think
episode very, very well because it's a good one. So
like.
you should see it.
But yeah, I mean, anyways, just my final point here. I think this is probably, if I had to guess, like, even when you adjust it for inflation, I think this is like his lowest budget film.
Hmm.
And I mean, ever since like after Signs, or even with Signs, like Signs was a very expensive movie, and he's always been working with budgets like since then. Maybe just when he is very limited in scope, he just
Brings
he
out the
might just
best
be
in him.
better at doing that. Yeah, like
Well,
he's
did you
limited to
see
focus on character. And
his presented film, the only one, even though it's supposed to be a series of like
the Night
interconnected, somewhat
Chronicles.
stories? Yeah,
Yeah, Devil.
the Night
I like
Chronicles.
Devil.
Did you see that? I saw that in theaters
Yeah,
actually. I
yeah, I
thought
did
it was
too.
pretty good suspense. I didn't like the story necessarily, but it was good suspense. It was like the same kind of realm, like micro budget horror in one location.
I thought it was a
Like,
fun Twilight Zone episode.
yeah, exactly.
I
That's
mean,
exactly
and
what it was. Like it was a Twilight Zone movie.
yeah, and I mean that
And it
was.
wasn't bad. It's just I like when I was like, man, I paid money to see this. Like my friend talked me into go seeing it with him. I was like, you fucker.
I worked in a movie theater at the time, so I saw it for free.
Yeah, it's definitely good for a free
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I that was an effective movie. I thought, especially
Yeah.
like just the
Well,
way that it
not the
uses
box
sound.
office because there's only one Night Chronicle. So.
Yeah, which is a bummer because I mean it's a cool concept, and I mean
Uh-huh.
the way that they play with darkness and with sound when the lights go out, I thought was actually pretty fucking
pretty
creepy.
oo-
So
yeah,
yeah,
spooky.
I mean that was a
Well,
fun movie.
anytime a movie shows nothing on screen, just darkness and sound, like it's always very effective.
Yeah,
The,
and
the
it
thing
just
that
it
comes to
really
mind,
plays on your fears. Like M Night's
yeah,
good at that. He's
well,
really
not
good
even
at
just that,
unnerving
just
you. Yeah,
Like the
Just
way, if you
the
remember the
fucking
way,
alien in Signs, dude. That was so fucking.
fuck that alien. The way
It's just
Zero
a
Dark
simple
30
thing, yeah,
starts,
too.
it's just it's a black screen with the phone calls from the September 11 text. Like it's a more like 10 times as powerful as actually seeing footage. Like anytime a movie only uses one of your senses, like it's always effective.
Yeah, I mean, it could be a cheap
Especially
ploy, but you
if
know when
it's
you're
the
using it narratively to a
uh,
point,
if it's the inverse, it's just as effective too. When you see visuals but there's no audio, like if a flashbang or a bomb went off, and you have like white noise or nothing at all, it's pretty spooky.
What's also a great trick is starting with just a black screen and just have noise and have it build up, and then you just have a smash cut to a shot that's just totally silent.
Mm-hmm.
I mean that that is something that I've seen done many times, but I love it just about every single time it's done.
Because it's effective, and it's not. I'm like
Yeah,
it's not common, but it is like it's almost not generic, but it's a cheap trick, you know? Like
I mean my favorite one probably that has done that is Gravity.
how
Like not
was that
necessarily a
was
black
that when the
screen,
space
but
station
it's
blew up? Because
no,
there was no
it's when
sound.
yeah, no, it's right when the title is coming up, and there's just the text that gives you like everything you need to know about what the rules are in space,
Mm-hmm.
and then the title Gravity, and the music is just building up, it's getting louder and louder and louder,
And then
and then you
there's
smash
nothing.
cut to a shot to Earth, no sound whatsoever, and you're just taking it all in. Like that was just perfect. Like that's just a perfect way to suck you into the movie.
Well, we can stop sucking off Corone. What else did you watch this week? Anything else?
Uh, that was it.
That was it?
Yeah.
Huh.
I
Well,
very very busy week doing other stuff. Yeah, that's all I
I've,
got
I've,
the time to
I've been
watch.
busy
Yeah.
too. I only saw one movie, and you already know what it is because we did a mini
Mhm.
review off air. I saw Project Almanac. Should I say Michael Bay's Project Almanac? Is that more accurate? I mean,
It
it's
could be.
Platinum
I mean,
Dunes. I
yeah,
don't
but I
know.
mean,
I would have loved if
it's
he
a lot.
directed it. That would have been awesome.
I don't know if he.
I mean,
Yeah,
Dean Israelite did a fine job. It was a good movie.
yeah. I mean, I think it's a fun movie.
We kind of talked about this before. I haven't seen many found footage movies. I've seen Cannibal Holocaust, Blair Witch Project, Cloverfield, and now this. I think that's it. Just those four. Maybe there's one or does Project X count? Yeah, that counts. Um, there might be one or two others in there, but it's not a genre that I really do. I've missed most of Blumhouse's stuff. I'm probably gonna see the first Paranormal Activity this month or this season, I should say.
Watch it with
Um,
some good sound, man.
no, I might do headphones
Like
for it.
yeah. I mean, you can't use TV or monitor speakers for that. Like, it's very essential that you have something with some bass.
Yeah, for jump scares,
Yeah.
got it. Uh,
Not for jump scares. It's very essential. Otherwise, it's just total silence. Like,
but you know, I wouldn't say I was disappointed. I was expecting a little bit more. The thing, like, I liked it. It was a real fun movie until it wasn't. Like, I liked the first hour or so, and then once it got serious, when it got into like the primer stuff, that's when I started liking it a little bit less. Uh, like when it took on the consequences of time travel, like when the title came into being relevant, like talking about the almanac, like the gray sports almanac from Back to the Future Part Two. But it was good. Like it was a fairly good time travel movie. Like about as good as it can be, especially at a mainstream level. Like it didn't do any absurd concepts, but I did like the way it ended. Like I did like the little
the
like
open-ended thing, which
yeah, the open ended like haha.
yeah, I mean
Uh,
I mean, I remember it and cool, I guess. I mean,
the ending of the movie
I
in
don't know.
general.
Yeah, I didn't I didn't mind it, or I mean I guess it was effective for
Hmm.
how much I was into the movie. I mean I did like it. I saw it earlier this year. But I mean, I guess you reread my review and I did check it out. And yeah,
Yeah,
you totally, because I knew we were going to talk about this. But yeah, you did call me out. I focused more on the found
on the
footage
way it was
aspect.
shot.
But
Hmm.
yeah, but I mean, because that is kind of
It
what
was done well,
yeah,
especially
that's
with
just what I have to
effects.
talk about it. Yeah, I mean, and a lot of people were complaining mainly just about that when it came out, and also just really shitting on the movie and just like of how bad it was. And
The movie
I
wasn't
don't.
bad.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was fairly entertaining, and even as far as time travel, I was actually really into the primer stuff when just time travel had more consequences of how he keeps going back and keeps trying to fix things, and
It seemed butterfly effecty to me. And
you know,
it didn't have a good payoff. Like it kind of ruined the movie.
it
If it
didn't.
just if it stayed fun, it would have been more fun. Like
I
I like
was
fun movies.
I was invested enough in that character that it worked for me. That just seeing his desperation of just how hard he was trying to fix things. Like I don't know what the kid's name, the actor's name is, but I think he
Yeah, me
did a
either.
good job pulling that off. I mean, because
Oh
that
yeah,
worked
he
for
was.
me.
The acting
I mean,
throughout the
because
film
yeah,
was good.
I mean, yeah,
Even
because
his girlfriend, the
yeah,
love
like
interest.
I bought that he was trying really, really hard to fix everything, and just seeing everything just totally backfire on him. Like, yeah, it worked for me. I was invested in it.
I
I
do
mean,
call bullshit on the MacGuffin, if you will, on him watching the footage on the camera and noticing the reflection in the mirror. There's no fucking way that happened so
it's
fast.
yeah. I mean, I don't, I don't. I went into this knowing it was a time travel movie, and I'm like,
Yeah,
as long as time travel
time
movies
travel's
like by
probably my
nature
favorite
are
genre.
convoluted, yeah, and I
Yeah.
mean this is a movie that knows it's getting convoluted as it keeps going, so I kind of just expect it to be a mess, and that's basically what he's doing is he's creating a mess as he keeps going in the end. So
I don't know. I
for me
want
that
to.
worked. I mean,
I'll rewatch it probably, and I'm sure there's some
like
stuff in there that has a payoff. Like you notice like a certain thing in the corner that you weren't looking for before, or something like that. Which I'm sure is probably true for Primer as well. I've only seen each once.
yeah,
Um,
Primer's it's a far more smarter film, and
well, it's a mind fuck.
yeah. I
Like
mean,
that's
this
one of those movies where
is
it's like, oh yeah, you knew exactly what happened the first time, then you're a fucking liar.
yeah. I mean, this is like Primer basically for teenagers. It's the more entertaining version, and
Well, yeah,
it is fun. I enjoyed it. Yeah,
They use a time machine to go to Lollapalooza.
yeah.
Like I think that's why a lot of people shit on it. Like
Like,
that and like all other things.
honestly, like
I thought if I was in high school, I would have loved it.
exactly,
Probably.
yeah. I mean, and that's kind of how I felt going in. Is like, this is something I would have watched in middle school and thought it was great back
Mhm.
then, and
I'm
it
still pretty
really
sure that
just
I wouldn't have
went to
liked
that
the
spirit.
ending, but
I don't know. I mean, I thought the ending was just kind of like, oh, okay, fine.
like I knew it was coming. Like I
You
knew
did
like
it, yeah, but
yeah, I knew what was gonna happen, but like because they do the exact same thing in the butterfly effect. Like
yeah, I mean, I thought it was fun. I mean, I didn't demand too much out of the movie. I wasn't looking to bash it, and I walked away more surprised by what they did rather than just you know but I mean, I don't know. I think just a lot of the crap talked on that movie is just nitpicking the science of the time travel and
I think it's more
the
just
fucking
hey
found
Michael
footage
Bay
and
helped make this.
that.
Let's shit on it
Yeah,
because that's cool.
that too. I mean, all the criticisms feel like easy targets. I mean, it's not a bad movie. It's by no means perfect, but there's a lot more going on in the movie that there's a lot more work being done by people other than Michael Bay. Like it's really well directed. I thought visually it was very easy to watch. I mean, I wasn't
well, there's no
distracted by the
shaky
shaky
cam.
camera or anything. I could tell what was going on. I mean, if I have only one criticism as far as the found footage thing is that they went with the scope aspect ratio, which what consumer grade camera has that? Like, yeah,
Well,
that's
you did see
I
the
would call
camera.
bullshit.
The camera is part of the story, so
No, but I mean the aspect ratio was not correct for that camera.
in the one that they
Like
find,
that's
the
something you could
father's
call
camera, it
bullshit
totally
on,
was because that was like like an $8,000 digital camera at the time, so it
but no,
probably was.
I don't think no consumer.
That's not the
cameras,
one that they
they're
shoot
not
the
scope.
film with.
No, but
I don't know.
they're not by the 2:3.5 ratio.
You can get them. I mean, they're
Uh,
expensive, but
well,
I mean, especially now, like I mean, it's not what they have in the film, but you could just get a DSLR and put a lens on it.
can you get anamorphic lenses for DSLRs yet?
Probably, I don't know. I would assume.
No.
I mean,
Well,
it is a single lens, so I don't know.
I mean, as
I'm,
far
I'm
as
not.
I know,
I'm not a camera guy.
yeah, but I mean, okay, but we both agree like it's a fun movie. I mean,
Yeah, like I don't know if I would watch it again. I'll probably watch it again at some point.
if it's on cable, then you would watch it. I mean,
Yeah, if I was
that's
flipping channels and I was looking
yeah.
for something, I'd probably put it on for a little bit. Especially because, like I said, like when it's fun, like when it's trying to have fun, it totally is. It just once it gets into the serious side, it kind of loses its footing, and it slips up and it moves a little too fast and characters get swept under the rug and it just trying to make sense with the time travel angle and make the whole arc come together and make the story seem more concise and be smarter than it is. And that's not what it is. It's a fun movie. And once it kind of loses its sense of identity, once it tries to, um, like I said, be smarter than it is, it lost me. I was no longer
Well, I don't know.
interested.
I never felt it was like trying to be smarter. I mean, and you know, it worked on me near the end. That I mean, I thought it just became more and more of a mess, and that's really the point. You know, is just don't fuck with time
It
travel.
wasn't,
It
yeah, it
will
was
be a
intentional,
trip.
but
Yeah.
I think it kind of went to the point where it was entertaining. Okay, like it wasn't necessarily confusing. It was just not fun.
I don't know. I mean, you know, it worked on me. But we're in agreement on there that much that you know it's not a horrible movie. It's hardly one of the year's
Oh no.
worst. Yeah.
I mean, we also agreed that the Ninja Turtles remake wasn't bad either.
Come on, it's
So
not like
no, I'm just saying. So
seriously.
we're
Who the
against the mass
this
media, I guess. Most people will disagree with us on these. It's a Platinum Dunes thing.
seriously, I mean, Ninja Turtles, like, does that really destroy the core of what Ninja Turtles are about?
That
Like,
movie was awesome. I really liked
yeah,
it,
I mean,
like
it
a
really is
lot.
in the spirit of that show. Like, I really do feel like, you know, the Ninja Turtles was always fucking stupid. It
It's not
always
even
was.
stupid. I think it was just the
It was
fact
always very
that
childish and very fun. Like, of course, a movie like that, yeah, I
this
mean, you know,
is
it was
this
fine.
is what it was about Ninja Turtles. Once they announced that they were going to make them aliens, everyone hated the movie, and then they didn't stop hating it, and they know even when they didn't have a reason to, because they did some really good stuff with the April O'Neil stuff, like incorporating her with the turtles, like to make like sense of their relationship. I thought that was
Yeah, I
really
mean,
good.
that backstory, too, like, that really worked.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
excited
I
for the
mean,
sequel.
I
It's gonna be good.
I hope it's fun. You know, I enjoyed it on the same level that I enjoyed the show. I mean, it really brought me back to like just. I mean, you know, maybe stupid's the wrong word, but I mean, come on, it's you know, it's Ninja Turtles. It's about as seriously like I took it as seriously as I knew I should have. I'm not. It's I can't. I don't see why people are like pretending like you know it's like putting up to the standard of something as serious as like some like Christopher Nolan. You know.
Because they
Yeah,
can.
I don't know.
It does,
Fanboy culture makes no sense to me.
people have kind of lost track of mindless entertainment, like the popcorn flick. The popcorn flick has to be a good movie now too. Like
Well,
Marvel
the
kind
popcorn
of
flick can be.
helped ruin that.
Well, I mean, you know, even when it comes to stuff like Marvel, like you know, it's not like everything they do is super smart. I mean, some like Thor 2, it's you know, it's fun,
Well, I don't even mean that. I'm just saying
but
we're now expected as a population to get these, huge movies that aren't only fun, but they're engaging, they have good acting, they're directed well, they have good production value, all those things plus being good, plus it connects to something else. Plus it does this. Like it's no like it, turning your brain off for 2 hours isn't acceptable anymore for some reason. I don't get it. That used to be a whole genre. Like any Schwarzenegger movie, Stallone, Van Damme, Jackie Chan, even just watching it
I
was
think
the fun.
I think it still is acceptable. I mean, you know, among a general, you know, average audience, just when you get to the internet, I think that's really just more internet fan culture that just loves to nitpick everything.
Maybe
I mean, that's Reddit talk, you know.
I've spent a little bit of time on Reddit now. It's a really weird place.
Yeah, I
I
bet.
I
I got a
still
friend
don't
that
quite get it.
I don't use it, but I have a friend who I consider to be a Reddit encyclopedia because every piece of information that he knows he
Oh
gets
yeah,
from
I saw it
Reddit.
from Reddit. I
Yeah,
read it on Reddit.
yeah, I know. That type of person is really
Yeah.
fucking annoying.
Well, I think
But
we've done
yeah,
about all we can for this episode. It went another 2 hours again, even though I tried
I
not to
know.
get it to go that. We need to
God,
fix
yeah, well,
that.
okay, then we can just stop talking.
Oh yeah, that works.
No, no, I don't
You,
want to do that.
you can send us any kind of feedback. We'd love it in a variety of ways. You can do it directly through Twitter, which is at Dollar Reviews. Find us on Facebook and send us a message, also Dollar Reviews. Uh, email dollar.review@gmail.com. You can find us on our WordPress, Dollar Reviews podcast.wordpress.com. comment, whatever. Lots of different ways to do it. We'd appreciate it all, even if you don't appreciate us. That's the best kind of feedback. I'm Brian Gillis. Thanks for listening.
I'm Steven Malmanix. Have a good night.